gonna get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
What is up? What is good? I know we have just surprised everybody. We are live in effect. Welcome to the I'll Piss You Off Shortly podcast. Like I said, we are here together, reunited, and it feels
Isn't this
good.
awesome?
Yo, it's crazy. I've been like bugging Joe for like the past, I don't know how long. And like every Monday, I'm like, are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? We had to get the studio set up. Joe's got it very nice in here. So, like, I'm ready to cook. Joe's ready to cook. It's a beautiful feeling.
Thank God COVID's over.
Oh, man. It's looking like we're out of the clear a little bit. Like, It's beautiful weather's coming around. I've seen everybody outside. Everybody's talking about how they've been getting together this whole weekend. So, it's just like, we're here. We're in the safe spot. So, like, I appreciate everybody joining us. I know we're a little bit late, but as you see, I told you guys we have a special surprise for you. And, yeah, we're here, man. We're here. So, first and foremost, I do want to say, like, coming in here, right, to the studio, to the CMG headquarters, right? Two things. This, first and foremost, we're not in like our location. I'm not dropping low, but what I'm saying is like this location, this area, isn't the best for my skin complexion, right? So we'll keep it right. So like, not the best for this skin complexion. But so when I got here, I was like, "Yo, I'm here, Joe." Joe's running the errand real quick. And me, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool sitting around, especially in my car. I'm used to it, right?
Yeah.
But I was cool until a black Ford Explorer, all blacked out.
That's my neighbor.
Yep, came. And it was crazy. Like, he came up the hill, and then he slowed down. Now, in normal human mode, he's slowing down because I'm parked on the right side of the road, right? But me being where I'm at and the color I am, not to say I have a fancy car, but I have a decent car. And I just like, I get nervous. So when he slowed down and then creeped, I said, shit. And I have nothing to be nervous about, right? Nothing to be nervous about. But I was like, all right, you know what? Hey, man, you around? Just because I was like, let me just get my ass inside before somebody's like, man, I got a black guy sitting here. And
can I tell you a great story about that cop?
Yes.
He's a friend, as you could imagine. Some years ago, I was driving a couple streets away, and it was late at night. I went through a stop sign.
Oh, jeez.
It's a good roll.
Yeah. Is it the one right up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly the one. Yeah, I rolled right through that son of a bitch. And I looked to my left, and the cop was sitting right there. I was like, oh, dead to rights.
Got me.
Dead to rights. I pull over. Cop gets out of the car, lights his registration, and all of a sudden, I saw that same car you saw creeping by. And he looked, and he saw me, and I thought, any minute now, this cop behind me is going to get a phone call.
Yeah.
Let this guy go.
Did it happen?
It sure did.
There you go. Hell yeah.
The best part was I actually saw him. He was coming up, and I saw the headlights. He started pulling down our street, and he knew. And I saw him flip around. He came back the other way. And he gets out of his car as the cop is walking back over to my car. And he was like, this guy's all right. And I was like, I was framed. It was like we had a bunch of laughs about it. And I was like, I've always rolled through that stop sign. Yeah, a bunch of white guys just had a good laugh.
Had a good laugh about it.
Off I went.
Oh,
that's done. That I swear to God, on my children upstairs sleeping. That's what happened.
See, it was crazy when I was coming back because I was not rushing, but I was like, I want to get back, whatever, right? And I saw the stop sign. It's dark as hell right now, right? So I'm like, do I want to blow the stop sign? Leave it up to me. And then I realized when I left, I realized I didn't have my phone. So I was like, I can't get pulled over 2 feet from his house, no phone, no nothing. I'm just gonna stop at the stop sign because just my luck, like I'll just roll right by it and whoop, whoop, here we go. So right, bet. So as I'm coming back in, I see your neighbor outside, right next door, right? If I'm facing the house, left side neighbor, right? Outside smoking a cig. Cool. So me being the friendly person I am, I see him and he's literally like his garage door. He's sitting on the far side of his garage door. And I said, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Guess what I got?
Nothing.
And a drag of a cigarette. He looked at me and I fucked me until I got into your door.
That's the old guy over here.
If I'm facing your house,
yeah,
to the left.
Yeah, oh yeah.
To the left.
So
yeah, I was like,
you know
this
what?
is a good strong welcome to the neighborhood.
I'm gonna share a story with you since the episode is called Bad Day.
Yep.
That guy is an old Italian. Is he racist? I'll bet he is. He since I lived here has dreamt in his mind that he and I have a feud. And he is constantly, it's insane because I mean, who would fuck with me? But this fucking old ass Italian guy comes up to me all the time and he's like, hey, these plants in my garden, they're dead. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Who do you think would kill them?
Who's out killing
motherfucker?
Plants?
Wait, are you asking me if I killed your plants? This really happened. He accused me of that. I had the nice white vinyl fencing put up around my house. I have an in-ground pool. I have to have a fence by law. This guy didn't like the new fence. He was offended by it. It was higher. And also, you know, the vinyl, you got to put it was like the round bars in the ground. They had to put obviously a thicker holder in there. So is it maybe an inch or two onto his property? Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah. One day I came home, just like where you saw him, and because the houses, he's right there. We're like 25 feet apart, I would say, the houses. That's why I got a fence. And I get out of the car, and he walks over, and he starts pointing at the fence, and he's like, it's on my property. And I'm like, bro, I said they put the post in the same hole as the old one. Same spot. And then he accused the fence guy of purposely cutting into his property. I go, you think my fence guy doesn't know you? You think he was like, you know what? Fuck your neighbor. We're going to take like a foot of his property. What's wrong with you, dude? Then he said to me, I almost cut this down with my chainsaw today.
The fence?
Yes. And I said, I'm not going to say his name as much as I want to, but I was like, let me tell you something, Paisan. I said, if you step foot on my property with a chainsaw, I will fuck you up.
Facts.
Yeah. Like straight up, dude. That would be a big mistake on your part. But Rob, here's how the story ends. He rolls up on me. How old is that guy, would you guess?
I would 70.
74 years old.
Sorry, right on the money.
He's rough though. This guy, like, he's got like the body of like a 61-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of that old man strength.
And he's always dressed nice, just to walk around his yard. Got a shirt.
Italian.
Oh yeah, you know the type.
Oh yeah.
You know what's in the garage?
It's everything to cut you up with.
Alizé.
Oh my God. I'm not. You know what? He got it. I'm not fucking with no old dude that drinks Alizé.
He's just out there all day. Slamming it back all day.
And you
know, I know this.
You see his bottles all over.
No.
Who drinks Alizé?
His son-in-law. His son-in-law came over one day. And he was like, hey, this guy's losing his shit. And I go, yeah. I'm like, he told me he was going to cut my fence down. He's like, don't worry about it. I already talked to him. He's like, you know, he's in the garage just all day, just
slinging back Alizé
all day.
You know who drink Alizé? Who I learned drinks Alizé? Well, who I learned Alizé from? my mom and her friends. That was like the thought drink back in the day. Not calling my mom a thought, but like that was what they drank. Hennessy and Alizé. So like, I'm just saying. I don't know. It's interesting. So it was a very nice, warm welcome into the home of CMG.
My neighbor's a bitch, dude. You're exactly right.
Exactly. Alizé for the.
And then, dude, there was another time. I'll keep this brief. I don't want to spend too much time on this guy. He's an idiot, but he was on vacation, and while he was away, his daughter came over and had trimmed some of his hedges, and she took the scraps and she threw it in his garbage can. Mm-hmm. So he opens up his garbage can one night, right when he gets back. He sees that stuff in there, and he assumes, I did it. I must have cut some hedges and thrown it in his garbage can. So he takes it and he throws it over the fence.
Oh wow! So he that petty.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I just my AC stopped working. Imagine that. It's like a hottest day in August, and it was a bad moment. And I come walking around the corner in the middle of everything going on, and I'm like, "What is all these hedges on? Where'd this come from? What the?
Who's trimming trees?"
Well, his daughter calls him in the morning, and she's like, "I don't know if you noticed that." She goes, "But I trim the hedges." And so I got to tell you, look, he's an old, disrespectful fuck, but an Italian nonetheless. He came over to apologize.
Good. Did he pick it up?
My wife was like, "What do you want?" He's like, "I need to talk to your husband." She's like, "My husband doesn't want to talk to you. If there's a problem, just tell me." And he was like, "I talked to your husband only." She's like, "He's not going to talk to you." And he told her what happened. And she goes, "I'm going to open up the fence. I'm not going to tell him that. I'm just going to piss him off." And she had friends here too, and I had to drive him to the airport. And while we're driving to the airport,
is that what she broke it down?
No, it was me and her friends, and her buddy Gary was like, "Hey, did your wife tell you what happened?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He tells me the whole story. It's like a 40-minute ride to the airport, and I'm like, "Oh," and he thinks it's hilarious, and I'm like, "Yeah, oh God. I hope I see him when I get home."
I was rolling.
Dude, I pulled up. It was like you know the scene in Goodfellas when Ray Liotta, when Lorraine Bracco calls him up, the guy across the street was getting handsy. Bro, I pulled up to the house and he's sitting there like working on his car, and I was like, if I had a gun, I'd have to pistol whip you just for Goodfellas' sake.
Just because.
But I get out of my car and I beeline it and I go, "What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Seriously, what is wrong with you? How many times are you gonna like imagine I'm like, I fucking hate you. I don't look at you now. I don't talk to you.
Don't want nothing to do.
I don't. You're consumed with me. Thanks. You're a fucking loser." I'm screaming this in our like right in the middle of grass there, screaming at this guy. And then I go, "Why don't you go have another drink, you fucking loser?"
Did he stop?
I turned around and I take a step back towards my house. Like, I'm going to beat up a fucking 74-year-old man. It's not me. It's not what I do. And so I hear this motherfucker go, "You're a jerk."
Oh, I'm the jerk. I'm the jerk.
Rob, that's the quote. I turn around. I go, "What?" I go, "I'm the jerk." I go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I can see it.
Imagining like a feud between us, and I could give two fucks about you.
I wonder who's winning it.
I don't go near your fucking property, dude. Like when I fucking blow leaves, I make sure if I get one on you, I fucking move it. The fuck out of here.
Oh man.
Anyway, this drunken ass motherfucker. Next thing you know, he's all weeping and shit. We're hugging.
Oh, jeez.
I walked him back to the garage, and that was like 2.5 years ago. We have not made eye contact or spoken since.
That awkward moment.
Meanwhile, right here, my black friend's like, hey, how's it going?
Be neighborly.
I'll tell you the best part, though. Two things. His daughter was a big fan of mine when I was on the radio station.
Okay.
So whenever she saw me, like, yeah, Rockin' Joe, right? And his wife, who's 1,000,000 years old.
Oh, geez.
Every time she sees me, whether she's with him or not, I get this.
So she's a sweet.
Loves me.
Always that way.
It's just him.
The asshole husband has the sweetest wife.
Yeah.
The sweetest wife.
we go over there for Halloween. I bring the kids over. I don't come near the door, but and he doesn't answer it. But
that's a good thing.
Douche.
You know what? I can only wish to. I don't wish to be that old and senile. But like, I kind of want to be the grumpy old man, like to get off my porch. Hey, get off my porch. Hey, matter of fact, hey, what you got? I smell it. Let me get it. Let me get some. Right? I just want to be that old.
Rob, when he was crying, you know what he said to me? He said, I had trouble with the last neighbor. That was the guy that lived here before me. Okay. And according to that guy, he had a problem with the guy that lived here before him.
Jeez. So he just has a problem with everybody.
Yes. Everybody. Like, I live in one of those like white suburbs where everybody on the street knows each other. Like, we have block parties and shit.
I can tell. I came in like everybody was doing the same thing at the same time.
Dude, he's the only person who doesn't get invited to shit. Nobody ever invites him anywhere, and it sucks because his wife is so nice, but everybody hates him.
See, and what's like, and when I like every time I drive up to your house. It reminds me of like maybe Desperate Housewives or like Stepford Wives Sons. Like, look, I pulled up, everybody was getting home, pulling out their groceries, and just hey, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, this is like Wisteria Lane,
exactly,
for sure.
But it's interesting. So, like, needless to say, my black ass will not be hanging out in my car past when the lights are on your street. It's either inside the house or I don't know. But, anyways, kind of embracing a couple things. There was a video I wanted to show LeBron James, but that video got wasted. It was
yeah.
But this video, I don't know if you guys seen it. It was like the biggest, like, I don't know. I was super mesmerized. And this guy, apparently he's a country liver. I don't know exactly where he's from, but he made his own, you know, those expensive ass rebound machines that UConn and all these other places have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That spit the ball back out. He literally country rigged. And I had another term for it, but I didn't want to be irresponsible, right? But he country rigged it, and
I think I know what you were gonna say.
You know what? I wasn't even about to say that, but then it hit my head, and I was like, you know. But anyways, he rigged it, and it's like a legit basketball thing, like a legit basketball rig. He had his rebound, he had his net, he had the return bucket, which was like a stick and like a can, and like I'm telling you, I wish we had more Amish people around like Connecticut. Instead, I mean, granted, it's like a 2.5 hour drive. But they make some of the best shit.
That is true.
And that's what I was gonna say. I didn't want to be ignorant and say like it was an Amish rig, but like, and from his apparel and the way he dressed, and just from like the scenery, it looks like rural, like Pennsylvania.
Right.
So, but like, and I say that when I was growing up in West Virginia, two best places. Well, the one best place I loved to go, and it was one big building, but it was owned by Amish people, and literally they had the best furniture. My great aunt Faye's swing set. She had a Gat Mills, West Virginia. If you look it up, it's probably like a penny size small on the map, right? But they made the best slingshots. They made the best swings, like wooden chair swings. They had the best candy, like the country store. You got all like the big bags of licorice, and like I when I was a kid, I used to love the berry candy. So they're like red and purple, but they're like berry candies. And like you had a big ass bag for like $1. So like anything like Amish, I solidify. Like, especially when it comes to like carpentry, like their own shit. So I wish I could, like, whenever I get my own house and build, like, yeah, definitely. Like, I want nothing but Amish furniture.
When I was a kid, we had a mulberry tree out in front of my parents' house, which for most of the year was cool. But when the mulberries were on it, you know, they just fall everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I had fashioned up, it was, I can't even explain it. My grandfather had this like metal, it fit a basketball in it. And I took it and I nailed it to a board and I hung the board from the tree.
There you go.
I had, I think it was 1984, because Kenny Skywalker from the Knicks competed in the slam dunk contest. And I had a Kenny Skywalker jersey.
There you go.
And I was out there hooping it up. And the way that the basket it basically, so that anytime I would shoot, it would always kick the ball back right out at me, just like LeBarn guy.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have the rope and all that shit. I just had to make it myself.
That's it. As long as you made it back yourself.
Oh, yeah. Every time I hit a bucket, it just bounced right back to the line.
See? Perfect ingenuity.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was 9 years old.
See? It just, that's why I love, basketball. Well, that's why I love basketball and lacrosse. when you look at it like basketball, it started with a milk crate and a ball. Lacrosse started with little like stringing together wooden sticks from the natives, and they made a game out of it. So like super, and it was like it wasn't just like a sport game; it was like a death, like fight to the death kind of game. So, but anyway, so yeah, a little history on that. But yeah, LeBron James, check that out. You guys would definitely be intrigued. I'm sure you guys will see it floating around in the social media realm. I wanted to talk about something that because I want to talk about something, cultural appropriation that we've talked about previously, and I brought it up, right? And I've said, you got to watch cultural appropriation, especially depending any ethnicity, right? So like whether it's Black cultural appropriation, whether it's Asian Pacific, cultural appropriation, anything, right? Middle Eastern, whatever the case may be. But I wanted to show this video because I do believe that there's a difference between cultural appropriation and actually like a true, genuine liking or like entertainment purpose and like enjoyment, or like enjoying certain things like from culture. So like African Amy, and the only reason why I'm calling her African Amy is because this is the title of the video. So like, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me for this, right?
Holy
but
shit.
African Amy, it's this video. We're gonna pull it up right now. But she's literally, I don't know what event, whether it's a wedding or whatever. But they're doing native African dancing, right? Mm-hmm. Afrobeat dancing, and African Amy has no rhythm at all. I shouldn't say no rhythm at all, but like she has just enough to like try and get the hint of it. But and I wanted to show this because I've been at so many like Black weddings, cookouts and stuff like that. You have a sprinkle of white people here and there, and like I think that a lot of the times, especially in the Black community, we get so obsessed with like the negative aspects, and people mocking us that like literally when other cultures or other people are like, hey, I'm intrigued by this and they're enjoying it, they're just trying to learn. And a lot of the time, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but some of the times, especially now in society now, like I've said before, like the Black hypersensitivity, instead of us looking at it as, hey, let's bring them in, teach them this, show them the right way and let them enjoy themselves. Because let's face it, especially back then, a lot of white people weren't as on beat and have the best rhythm in the world. But now teach them, educate them, or and even not just educate them on the dance, but educate them on the culture of it, right? So let's just show this video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because I was rocking with African Amy, and we'll kind of discuss for you. And that, like, look at her, she's getting the heels up. And she getting it. So, like, to me, it's like, just like with the electric slide. You bring other cultures into the electric slide and make it go. Look at Amy getting it. And Amy, I don't know if that's really your name, but go ahead. Hey. And this thing, like, involvement. And I think that's what we get better at in society. We don't shy away from these things. We use these moments as great teachable moments. Amy up there feeling herself having the best time of her life. And that's what it's about. I didn't even pick up this notes.
I mean, for like literally just learning that dance as it was happening, that's impressive.
And she's looking at it she has that admiration look in her face. So it's not like she's just trying to be funny. And I think a lot of the times, like, we'll make dances popular and stuff like that.
So I think the idea of cultural appropriation is sort of stupid in some ways that it makes sense. And here's what I mean. Like, you can tell when someone's mocking your race or mocking your culture or whatever. You can tell when that's happening. And you can tell, or you should be able to tell if you're a reasonable human, when someone, like you said, like is enthused, like, oh my God, that's incredible. I want to learn that. Tell me more about it. Right? We live in a society now, and I talked about this, right? I mean, we had a couple of Black kids at the Catholic school I went to, and they were also, as if that wasn't bad enough, Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. Well, not Jesus Christ, unfortunately. It was like they're already there were 3 black kids. It was a boy and 2 girls, brother and 2 sisters, and they were cool as hell. They lived right around the corner from me because, again, I didn't live in the nice section in there. You
weren't up in the hills with it. You know what I'm saying?
Their bus stop and then mine was the next one. And then it was Halloween, and it was like, why are they not wearing costumes? Like, Jesus Christ, these black kids, do they fucking do anything that we do, for Christ's sake? So like, it was but I always remember, like, they were like, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't ask them about it. And it's like, but I'm so fucking curious. And come to find out, because the girl was a year behind me, by the time we got to 8th grade, we got to be friends. And I was like, what's up with that Halloween shit? She's like, I fucking hate that. We can't celebrate it. She's like, my mom's a fucking lunatic. Like, she already knew.
Yeah.
It wasn't her fucking fault. She couldn't, like, observe Halloween. She wanted to.
Exactly.
It just wasn't in the cards. And so I always thought that was stupid. Like, they never wanted to. We were in a Catholic school. That doesn't get any more, like, absurd than that shit. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, what's more bullshit than Christianity? Right? Like, a fucking zombie, like, runs the whole goddamn thing. That's crazy. So you get the Jehovah's Witness, and like, why don't we talk about what makes us different?
Exactly.
Why? Because again, right? We've had this conversation, right? Why is my skin light and your skin dark? We came from the same fucking person. And literally came from the same person. There is literally a woman, mitochondrial Eve, who was the first human being. She was African, she was black, and we all descended from that person. Every one of us.
If we had that conversation, we would know that, right?
Right.
But then we also have to understand that I don't know how I can word this, but with somebody unknowing something comes ignorance. And,
right.
Ignorance is not necessarily a bad thing.
You fill in the gap of what you don't know.
Exactly.
You just make assumptions. But unfortunately, what you do know and what you think you know end up just at some point just being indistinguishable, and you don't know the fucking difference anymore.
I want to bring up a good comment that we have. Devonna says, appropriation isn't about mocking, though. So when I don't want to say that. I kind of want to unpack that a little bit, right? Appropriation isn't about mocking, though, and we say, like, when I say appropriation, I feel that, like, appropriation is using it and not necessarily. Yeah, I will say kind of with mocking, right? Because we'll use cornrows for example, right? So I remember even going in school here and a lot of white girls talking about, oh, why are their hair always braided? It looks like a boy, this, that, and the third, right? But we used to cruise frequently. I would go in the summertime and see, like, these white girls getting their hair braided in mad different designs and styles. Even once they get into the beach, all that shit comes apart. But you know what I mean? But like, you can't mock it and then try it out, right? Or you can't mock it and think that it doesn't look cool until Kim Kardashian or, you know what I mean, Kylie, put on braids, or like you can't, in that aspect, right? So yeah. I think that and that's why I say, like, you can't mock it and then try it out and try and flip it, right? So like even do-rags and scarves. I remember for the longest, even when I was younger, right? It was wear do-rag, you look like a thug. Matter of fact, I went to my old job recently because I had to go look for a part. Well, I needed the battery for my bike. And I went in, hoodie, do-rag, mask, and they were like, oh, one of my old coworkers came to me and was like, hey, who's that? And I kind of took my mask down. So they were like, oh, you came in looking all thuggish. But here we go now. White girl. I see so many white girls in bonnets and do-rags to protect their hair.
Well, not for nothing.
Where was, like, I remember when my mom would be like, they would make fun of my mom or tell my mom to take her bonnet off when they came into the school because it was inappropriate. But now, and that's what I say, that's what I think cultural appropriation is, right? Like you're mocking it. You made it, you made it a bad thing. And then you try to flip it and then try and call it something else and make it cool. When most of us speak to appropriation, the issue is profiting or making cool things that a particular race is graded for. Okay, so yeah, we're on the same thing. And I'm glad you put about making money, the monetary aspect of it as well. So the hair is a great example. The Kardashians can wear cornrows, but Black people need the Cornrow Act to protect their jobs.
So,
exactly.
So the last time my hair was this long,
yep,
I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as my hair was long enough, I totally put it in cornrows because I didn't know that was like a black thing. I just was like, oh my, I remember somebody was like, dude, we should put it in cornrows. And I was like, shit, man. Like, I think Snoop was rocking it at the time too. And I was like, because again, I'm not like, oh, he's a black guy. I just like, hey, that's Snoop. Like, yeah, I'll do that shit. So yeah, I did it.
But you
kept that in shit. But yeah,
did you ever think cornrows were like unprofessional? You were like, oh no, you ever see a black guy and like,
no? I'll tell you what, and I'll tell you the story. This is one of those things that happened about maybe a year or two ago. This black kid was one of my students. Super nice kid, man. We lived right around the corner from me in Hartford, and he missed a few classes, and I called him up, and I was like, dude, you don't need a ride. I'm like, you're like right over here. I'm like, I don't mind picking you up. And so we did that a few times, and he had like
big old afro.
Yeah, like a racer head, right?
Oh, so yeah, flat top.
He had a flat top. And it looked awesome. And I picked him up the day of the final. And we drove in a cab. It was like wintertime. It was cold. And we get in the class. He goes in. He sits down. I go over, to my desk. And all of a sudden, dude, he pulls his hat off. And it's like your hair. And we were like, oh, my God, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he was like, guys. And this broke my heart, dude. And this is something, again, when I just talked about something, Divided We Stand. These microaggressions, right? Where like I hear it from somebody and I'm like, oh fuck, I wouldn't even have thought of that shit. Damn. He was like, I'm about to graduate. I'm trying to get a job. He's like, nobody's hiring that shit. And I was like, oh my God, you're fucking right, dude. That's fucking terrible.
And you know what's crazy? I had my hair growing out, right? Yeah. And I was like, I think we spoke about this. Like, I don't want to cut it. But literally my own black woman, my own girlfriend was like, you can't have your hair like that because it's not professional. Now, what's crazy is her family is like, not going to say like a conservative mindset because they're very like liberal, yeah. But like they have conservative thinkings as far as like how you present yourself and how you should look and, certain things like that, right? So she's like, I don't like it that way. It looks messy. And I was like, no, I might want to twist it or, do some twists and just, whatever, just let it grow, be natural. That's not professional looking. That's not, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, is it? And when we kind of unpacked it, it just pretty much dwindled down to that's not what an adult male wears. Those aren't hairstyles that adult men wear or men that have those hairstyles or make a certain amount of money and don't care. And I'm like, that's crazy that a black woman is still not hindering me, but making me choose. Like, if I want to have the freedom with my hair to grow it out and like just do like the girls do, rub my hair through, rub my hand through it, and just do whatever the case may be. So I hate it. So here I am, my hair
look at this.
And look at you. You got the man bun going. I'm jealous.
Because this is, and I hate to say it like this, but like, right, I'm a white guy. I can fucking I'm pulling this off. I've been in so many professional environments in the last couple of weeks, and I keep saying to my wife, I'm like, I should cut this. Like this doesn't look. This isn't what I'm trying to portray. But she's like, no, it's awesome.
It's you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and my plan's always been I was gonna ride this out until the quarantine's over, and it just won't stop. And so this is thick and long, and there's a man bun. And everywhere I go, people are like, oh, dude, like that's fucking awesome. And I'm like, people should be like, dude, get your shit together. Get a haircut and shave, right? But again, we started the show off with a great white privilege story where I said to the cop, like, I gotta go. And off I went. Why would this shit be any different? But again, and this is so when you bring up a point like this, I guess as a white person, you got two choices. Mm-hmm. You could be like, why are you guys gonna make it about fucking race? Right? Or you can be like, well, that's a fact. Like that shit happened. Yeah. We literally just talked about and made a joke about it, mind you, that you felt a little unsafe in my neighborhood when my cop friend drove by. And I'm like, no, that cop's fucking awesome, dude. I wouldn't think. I think I told you there was another story where I literally had a thing of paraphernalia in my hand and I waved it at a cop.
Yeah, you remember?
Like, no, you go.
You go ahead.
Oh yeah, you go.
Nothing.
And like, of course I did that because that's how it goes, and it's bullshit. But I wouldn't have known it was bullshit until people started pointing it out. Now, here's what I don't understand: is the white people, Rob, when they hear it and they're like, "No, that's bullshit. What's white? I never died. My life hasn't been." None of those things has anything to do with what we're talking about, right? What we're talking about is just being black and being in this white neighborhood is fucking like it's like disconcerting for you. That shouldn't be that way.
I had to run in and get to the safe house. That's the safe zone. And then that was the other thing. I was like, it's dark. And so I pulled up to park on the street again. And I said, and this is going through my black mind. Maybe not. Because there was a couple, he was out there. To me, especially now where we're at, like cars are getting stolen, whatever the case may be. I'm the black guy in all black coming to this predominantly white neighborhood, right? I don't know if any black people are around. But anyways, in the dark. So I had pulled in your driveway.
There is one.
Just to make just to make sure that at least it would seem normal. Like, okay, he's pulling in the driveway. They must know him instead of like a black guy just popping out the car trying to rush in just because that's what I do. I get out and rush in the door. So I had to take those certain precautions just to make sure I felt safe within this neighborhood, so I wouldn't get like called the cops on and be like, "Hey, there's a suspicious black guy." Even for me, when I get home, and this is just a lifetime thing, I don't get home and just get out the car. To me, I've always just it's been instilled in my mind. Wait, see what's going on. You never know what's going on around you. You know what I mean? You never know. Somebody might pop out a bush. Just wait, see what's going on, and then get out. It was different when I got here. It was pull up, turn the car off, get into the house. Just because I can't just sit there, because even then I knew you were recording. Like, I wasn't rushing back for something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hang out in my car in a predominantly white neighborhood. But let's see. I don't know. I couldn't do that.
I didn't know I couldn't do that. It's like it's funny that you say that. Like, I've literally seen that as an excuse white people make for committing actual crimes. Like, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Yeah. That's illegal. Really? Well, what? My bad.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think at this point, I think for anybody who doesn't recognize or understand what the term white privilege is full of shit, because any white person has been in a situation where being white, some cop told you, like, get the fuck out of here before I gotta.
Exactly.
And you got to go.
And we have
he doesn't get to go. He doesn't ever get to go.
Prime example of white privilege coming up when we speak about Miami and spring break and how that went down. But, we'll definitely give a prime example of that. Speaking of white privilege, I kind of want to go back to last week when we were just a little bit, just to touch on a little bit when we were talking about growing up and how we respect our parents differently.
Oh shit! I forgot about this. I did. I totally forgot we even had this convo.
So it came up, right? Just because during a one of my meetings this week with some people, it was like understanding that, like, when we, especially now for me, I'm at the age of like where I remember like growing up, right, with my parents. And so, when I was younger, they were at my age now. So like now understanding that, like, the things that we might like be mad or upset with our parents about, we kind of have to understand that, like, they didn't know what the hell they were doing when they were, when they were raising us. Like, even now, got a 5-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck to do with him.
Yeah.
Like, and I say that in a sense of like, I don't know, imagine being a parent for the first time, right here, right? Parent for the first time. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm learning through him. And I think a lot of the times even me growing up, like, I was so mad at like certain things without understanding, you know what I'm saying? And like, as a kid, I wanted to understand why. And now raising a child, I see why they might not be able to explain certain things because they don't understand things themselves, right? Yeah. So one of the biggest things was how parents, especially in the Black community, somebody was not necessarily upset, but felt some type of way because their parent wasn't able to teach them the financial literacy that, you know what I mean, we know.
Okay,
now. So that, you know what I mean, now that starts, you know, that, you know what I mean, starts them off, you know, kind of behind the curve. But that was the thing. If they didn't know it, if they weren't taught it, you know what I mean, they can't teach it to us.
Right.
So, and they're just going off of the things that they were learned. You know what I'm saying? And then even then, in that certain situation, they didn't really have somebody to teach them that, right? So, you know what I mean? So between being a parent, raising certain children, you know what I mean, certain amount of children, and then actually going, you know what I mean, trying to learn these things, even now for me, I would be at the same age pretty much as my mom was when they were getting their stuff, you know, trying to get their stuff together, learning certain things, learning how to be financially stable. You know what I mean? So
right.
it just kind of, I just wanted to, you know, just kind of maybe throw that in the air so we can always think about that. And even everybody out there, right? Just maybe not, you know what I mean? Giving our parents a break. And I honestly, personally, and using this as personal experience, right? There's somebody in my family that I'm struggling with, right? And this is a prominent person in my family, right? And we're not on the best of terms right now. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, we probably should, right? But because of certain things that I still hold to the past, and like little by little, not saying I'm letting them go, but I'm being more understanding of, you know what I mean, what they went through and kind of what, you know, the things that they had to sacrifice. You know what I mean? So it's like easing that up a little bit, but at the same time, I think I'm learning how to, now that I have an understanding of like what parenting is and what they had to sacrifice and go through, I can kind of like relate it, you know what I'm saying? And be a little bit more forgiving. Now, there are certain things that, of course, that I think, you know what I mean, we will have to deep dive into, but I think now having that certain understanding, I'm ready to kind of open up and, you know, maybe start to mend things the right way. You know what I'm saying? So don't hold your parents to the fire, you know, especially growing up with certain things. But at the same time, like,
I'm telling you, I think for me, the thing that to this day still pisses. I just having this conversation with my brother the other day, and then I had it with my daughter. You know how when you were growing up, right, in your head, it's like 12, 14-year-old you, and you're like, man, someday I want to be an adult and I'll do whatever I want.
Yep.
And then you're an adult and you're like, fuck, I got to do whatever I want. And people are asking me to do shit. Now I have kids and they're like, what is this shit? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Nobody told me. How do I know? How do you know? This is all fucked up. It's all fucked up. And it's true because, and again, and I hate to always harp on this shit, but why do you go to church? Well, because my parents made me go and their parents made them go. It's like the same stupid shit over and over again. Why don't we learn financial literacy? How come kids that graduate high school that have jobs or will have to get jobs immediately, they don't know how to fill out a tax return?
Oh my God, what?
How is that shit even happening?
I didn't know.
Because we just do the same shit over and over again. Mm-hmm. And for the life of me, I can't understand that. I literally had a conversation with a really cool person today, good friend of mine. And she's still paying her student loans. Right? She's about my age. I'm like 45. I want to say she's probably in her early 40s. And you know what she said to me? She goes, I just can't get behind Bernie. She goes, I had to pay off my student loans. Fuck everybody. They got to pay theirs. And I thought, dude, what? No. You know, come on. Do you really think that way? Why? I hate that. I hate that. It's like, dude, why can't we like, and again, we just talked about this on Divide We Stand, the idea that like, if you're forward thinking in some way, if you don't want to do the same old shit, or if you view transgendered people as like normal, or you see women and minorities as equal, that makes you a progressive. Like, what the fuck is that? That should just be what everybody is. How is that just not what we all are? We don't all want like, oh, it could be good and better for everybody. Fuck that. No. I don't understand that shit. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know.
I think that like it hurts us because a lot of people are just scared to share their knowledge, right? Or they want some kind of compensation for it or whatever. Even growing up, right? I once again, personal example. And even in my theory of, you know what I mean, Like, I want to know why. Now I try and explain things to my son, so that way he understands. So that way, like, and even teach him the things that, like, the life lessons and stuff like that. Like, I never understood why, like, certain parents will make a child or let them learn the hard way so they can go the same things that I went through and it's gonna make them a stronger person. No, not necessarily. If you have the answers to the freaking test, and it's, you know what I mean? It's why not?
Yes.
Like, if you have the answers to the test, or you have the ability to go ahead and guide them and educate them instead of wasting time and everything else, like letting them figure it out on their own and go, like, I never understood that, or letting somebody go through a struggle. Same like when I was in the military. I never, hold on, let's see. Oh, Frank,
again, dude, what is this? Like, it's a free pass. Like, my dad was a dick, but, you know, I'm older now and I'm a dick, so I guess I understand why he was a dick. I don't. Again, dude. So I actually slapped my son on the ass the other day.
Okay.
That's probably the second, third, maybe time I've ever done anything like that. Mm-hmm. And it was like, he was just totally defying. And he was about to catapult off of all this expensive equipment, and I just
got him.
And he like he freaked out. It was great. And a little while later, he came over, and I was like, "Dude, I'm like, I don't ever want to hit you like that. Cut that shit out."
But you're giving him that love, though.
I wanted him to understand. Like, dude, my dad would like whoop my ass, and come back later on and like, hey, you know, you gotta listen to me. And I'm like, this isn't working, bud. Yeah, it's not gonna cut it.
You gotta give them, in my theory, I'm hard on my guy. Hard on. Because you know what I mean? Just because I understand that there's certain things, right? But as hard as I am on him, I give him probably 1,000 times the love. You know what I'm saying? More than what as hard as I am. So, like, even after I discipline him, because that was my thing. Like, I used to hate as a child getting disciplined. Go to your room, and then you're like, okay, hour later, let's, you know what I mean? Where's the consoling? Where's the, you know what I mean? Okay, you know what I mean? But I might be going soft, but in my eyes, I look at it as changing. Jared goes,
is that from a song? Let the children.
I don't know, but I like it. And that's a very fair point, right? Remember how you were as a child.
Yeah.
And that's been helping me a lot, especially with all this COVID stuff and being in the house with this kid all day. I have to remember, how was I as a child?
Yeah.
And then just a lot of the things I'm starting to just let go. Like, cool, bro. Like, let you learn, let's grow about it, let's talk about it. And it's amazing how quickly he picks up on things and how things have been getting better. So, like, I'm all down for the discipline. I'm all down for just, you know what I mean? Just as much as you discipline, you just got to give them the same amount of love. But yeah.
That's it. It's Whitney Houston, greatest love of all.
There we go.
I knew it. That's a great line. Now listen, I want to be clear about one thing. My dad and I are cool. Like, we get along. I don't have a problem with him.
No beef.
I don't hate my mom or dad. I mean, there's nothing like that. My point is that just because they say shit, and if it's outlandish, I would react to them like I would to anybody else. I don't cut anybody slack, right? When my mom said, true story, I just can't help but think Obama's secretly a Muslim. I had to be like, motherfucker, what is wrong with your dumb ass? I had to say that. See, you know why I said that? Because we talked for a fucking hour and 45 minutes, and I cited multiple examples of why he was not a Muslim.
Gotcha.
Including when he and the black professor and the white cop, remember when they went and had a beer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Muslims don't drink beer. Remember all those times they caught him smoking cigarettes? Muslims don't smoke cigarettes.
They do.
Even worse, he goes to a Christian church. So, again, I just don't see where his fellow Muslims would be like, oh, this guy's good. He's undercover. He's the president. This is great. Get the fuck out of here with that stupid shit. Like, come on.
I think it's just the delivery. So, like, I definitely have to check my mom.
But here we are, dude. It's like 5 years later. Can you admit now that you're full of shit and Obama wasn't a Muslim and that everything I told you was right? You ignorant fuck. Like, why am I the asshole here?
See, I think okay, so I got it. The way you are with your parents, I'm with everybody else but my parents. I just have to revocalize and reword what I say. Because definitely, like, there's times where I have to get on my mom, but it's not that direct. It's in a more sarcastic wordplay way. This is true. You should see birthdays in this family. I'm telling you, I can only imagine, because I can only, just from the sense, like, I get it. I get it, because my family during holidays, or just around each other.
Oh, it's bad.
It's amazing.
It's bad. It's funny. Because usually too, we're like, hey, listen, let's not talk politics or religion or anything.
Right.
And then all of a sudden somebody be like, see the shit in the paper this morning? You're like, here we go. Ding, ding, ding. What did you think was going to happen? I'm going to take one random cheap shot and just going to hopefully let that go. Never. And if it's at a birthday party, you probably get the boot.
Fuck it. Like we always say, is you can act however you want unless you're in my house. When you're in my house, act with respect. The same way I'm going to do at your house.
Beautiful Jared Jones. My father and I didn't get along well when I was a teenager, but he's grown up a lot since then.
There you go.
I feel the same way. I just would like an acknowledgement is all of your where you failed. And because of that, understand that that's why when you say stupid shit and you get out of line, you get thrown out of the house and you get a SDFU. What are you gonna do?
Hey. Now, since we're talking about acknowledging, right? What would you do? How would you acknowledge a text message that was not meant for you? So, for example, say in the morning you get a text message from me that says, "Hey, babe, have a beautiful day. Love you." How do you acknowledge that text message from me? A missed text that was meant for my girl. But how do you respond?
I might give you the courtesy, hey, I think you sent this to the wrong person. I might be like, bro, I'm not going to share this with anybody. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, typically that's how I would play it.
But so I have a text here that kind of brought this situation, and it's between a soldier and a sergeant major. And the soldier is in the blue text and goes, "I love you and you look absolutely amazing." Well, the sergeant major, anybody that's familiar with the military, right? Sergeant majors are like, they're the top guys depending on, what level they're at, right? And usually when sergeant major says something, right? Or like you're not just texting sergeant major for just random things, right? Let alone a "I love you" text and anything. So the sergeant major says, "Okay, well, I think you're a great fellow, but I'm not sure it would work out between us. We just want different things. Sorry."
I love that.
And like, I thought that was the best reaction from a sergeant major, especially me being former military, like to have a sergeant major with that kind of sense of humor, but especially in a leadership position. And then how it goes further, he's like, "Tell her good morning from Sergeant Major too." Just to have that kind of, just humor with it. And I've done that so many times. That's such a common thing in the military. You text somebody. I've done that to my leadership, and one time it wasn't good. Another time, it's been funny, but it's brought to me like I text my girlfriend something from my mom the other day.
Yeah, and
it wasn't anything bad, but it was like I didn't feel like asking her because I didn't want to like fight about it, so I just asked my mom, and of course I sent the text to my mom. And she was like, "Oh, really? You couldn't have just asked me?" And I was like, "Fuck."
Oh, Jesus.
So
Yowza.
the missed text. So since I saw that recently, and then I had that happen to me recently, I just figured I'd bring it up and just the audacity and see if anybody has any interesting stories about missed texting. I do that all the time, honestly. Between missed texting, I used to be horrible. Like when Cash App first came out, and you didn't realize that like you can quickly send something by accident. Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
I remember like when I first got it, I had to request money back from people, or like when they would request. So like some people would like be requesting money. There's no way to deny it, and like if your finger just quickly taps it or gets close, it was sent. So, but
I still feel like this is not scientific in any way. 90% of missed texts are on purpose. I believe that.
You think so?
Yeah. You ever watch prank videos on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Most of that shit's fake. I'm certain.
Yeah.
You can tell by the way the person responds. Like, if I really hit you in the balls right now, you probably wouldn't laugh. I don't think you would laugh. I don't think you would think that was hilarious.
No.
I think you'd probably punch me.
Yeah.
And you'd be right to do that. So I watched that shit and I'm like, that isn't real. I know it's not. I feel like most of the time, have you ever sent a missed text on purpose?
No.
Just to feel some shit out?
Well, yeah, I have. Not a mix.
Sometimes you're like, oh shit, no, this wasn't for you, just to see if they'll engage.
I've never done that.
Oh yeah.
I might need to try. I might need to try that.
I don't use that. I don't use it a lot, but when I do, it's very effective.
This is the toxic, which is perfect because it goes into our next subject of the toxicity, right? I heard some really toxic shit this week, and luckily where I work now, well, not luckily, but like luckily where I work now, I literally get to pick the minds of women like all day.
That's nice.
Like
that's
all
nice.
Day. And I love it because they're super honest, super open with things. And I had a conversation, right? We're all at the break table having a conversation, and one girl was like, "Yo," she met somebody, and I consider her kind of like uppity and on the bougie spectrum, right? But anyway, she was like, if I'm dating somebody, she was actually talking about a previous date, right? They were talking about a previous date. She goes, she went on a date with somebody. She wanted to tag along two of her friends. The guy said sure. So they go on the date, they go out to dinner, and when it came time for the bill,
splitting that shit 4 ways, right?
The guy said, we'll take 3 checks.
Okay.
And so apparently she said she got upset because he didn't pay for the whole meal.
No.
She felt that it was his obligation because he was courting her and he agreed to them coming, that he should have paid the whole bill.
Maybe he buys one of their desserts. I don't think you're getting anything more than that. No.
And in my mind, yeah. No. So
wait, not for nothing. And this is gonna sound fucked up, but it seems like women nowadays, from what I've been reading, they expect if you're buying dinner, they got to put out. So I mean, is that guy in for like a 4-way or something? Because that's all I'm saying. That's what that would seem like. Why would I buy everybody dinner?
Or like, are we all dating now? In my mind,
right?
And especially like when she told me how much the bill was, I was like, oh no.
How much is the bill?
$300+.
No, get out of here. Wait, hold on. Did this dude know he was taking these ladies out to like fine dining? Did he invite them all to go out for fine dining? Or was it like, I want to take you on a date? And she was like, I want to bring my 2 girls. And he was like, all right.
I think it was the latter.
Well,
like they wanted to go on a date, and she was like, hey, can my friends come?
Can they tag along and sit at the table and eat with us? Yes. Will you pay for them? No.
And it was to meet him. So like this was like the first time like meeting the boyfriend and all that. So like in my head, the first thing I said, yo, you're tripping. Like even if I'm meeting your friends for the first time, I'm not paying for their meal unless I invited them. And at that point, I'm not inviting them to pay for the meal. I'm sorry.
I probably would have paid for everybody's dinner. I would have offered it. I would have offered. I would have been like, if they asked, I don't know how I would have reacted.
So here's the kicker, right? So she said she no longer talked to him because afterwards, her and the girls talked, and they all came up with a consensus. Yeah, there we go. Consensus that big words, Rob. That he was not worth it. Like he was a bum, and he was not. They said he did not have the mannerisms of a man to pay because that was the respectful thing to do.
That's
so. At that point, I said, "Y'all are tripping, right?" So and I said, "Y'all aren't married first and foremost. Y'all are dating. Y'all had known each other maybe about 6 months, whatever the case may be." And for your friends to like back that theory up and like, oh, he's a bum and scrub because he didn't pay for my meals. Well, no, y'all are bum and scrubs because y'all assumed that somebody was going to pay for bill. Now, if I really enjoy somebody, and just like you said, if I enjoy the time, it maybe if the friends are cool. If I think one of your friends are a dirtbag, I'm sorry, I can't just say I'm paying for their meals and not theirs. Sorry, your other friend messed it up for you.
Fair.
I'm sorry.
Fair.
I might pay for one drink, but at the same time, I don't even drink. So I got to cover her drinks, your drinks. And then they're like, oh, if he can't pay for that, then he's just broke. I'm sorry, women. What do you bring to the table other than the box? I'm sorry. I was never, and let me make one thing perfectly clear, right? I was never one for like these gender roles and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't care for the gender roles, right? You do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy, whatever. But if you come into like, I don't know exactly who she's used to dating and shit like that. Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't even bother me because I'm good in my relationship. But what I'm saying is like, you can't have a certain mindset and then expect a man to think of you as a certain way. I'm sorry. Like,
right. Well, that I hate to use the term. I don't know if this is racially insensitive or not, but like a gold digging whore. I know it applies to different races, but can I say that?
You can, because a gold digging whore can also be a male too.
Sure.
A gold digging whore can also be a man that just.
I don't like people who are opportunists. I don't like people who take advantage of situations. I think that's shitty. I think, and I've seen hot chicks take advantage of like fucking nerdy dudes. This never happened to me, motherfucker.
I was about to say, is this personal?
Nothing. I know. A buddy of mine, fuckface. But yeah, no, I've seen shit, and I don't like. They can't do it in a time of crisis where fucking people are like 30 pack of water, but I don't know, $35. Fuck off. That's being an opportunist. I think if you're looking for your man to get shit for you, you're probably looking for a baller. You probably want to find somebody at the pro level.
But even at that point, I think of it. Well, and once again, this is just my opinion, and I know my opinion pisses everybody off. Usually, the name of this podcast. But like in my opinion, even if I had the money and with my financial knowledge now, like I'm not wasting money. Like food is a big waste of money. Like I'm not wasting money so y'all can be fed and happy and then go sleep peacefully while my account's drained $300 and I only got one piece of ass out of it. So it is what it is.
What is this 30%?
I was just about to say
what? I just saw that. I don't even know this.
So the 30% rule. This is when I got introduced to the 30% rule, right? So she goes, also, I don't spend more than 30% on gifts for him than what he spent for me. So she said, for example, if he buys me $100 gift, I only buy him a $30 gift.
Who? What?
The toxicity, Joe. And the thing is, it wasn't just her. Like these girls were like, they were glued. So you're saying you only do this? Oh my God, I need to do this. I'm like, yo, y'all is tripping. I see them all the time at the car wash. They always want their car washed for free. Yo, like if this is what like we have to go through, like dating, I'm good. I don't want to. No, I'm good. If I ever become single again, I'm staying that way. Because if this is what it is, if this is what like women are expecting, I'm sorry, I'm good. Like,
I wouldn't. But again, see, I'm the kind of guy where I go on a lot of business meals, and so number one, it's a tax write-off. So I'm like, yeah, let me get that shit, and I'm gonna go. But number two, I like there's certain people who. As a sign of like, oh, let me get that for you. The least I can do. You've been such a good friend or such a valuable asset or whatever the case may be, that to me, it's like, it's a reward. So the idea that I have to like buy my way into your friends, into your pants, makes it especially whorish.
Yeah.
That's like at a whole other level.
I'm good.
Yes.
The only people that I splurge on like that, and not, is my family. Like I remember, I think it was like my younger sister's birthday, and we all went to like Hibachi or something. And at the time, I had it, and I can't remember how many people. It was at least 10 people, and I just covered the bill.
Yeah.
But nobody expected it. Nobody, and I didn't even want it a big thing. I don't even think like we even brought like the bill wasn't even an issue at the. You know what I mean? I just went and paid it. But that was, you know what I mean? Like those are the people that deserve that shit.
My wife,
not somebody I'm just dating and her two friends.
My wife's like my in-laws are pretty well off. And the grandparents are well off, and the uncle is well off. And whenever we're all like with them, like at first, I would always be like, somebody was gonna grab it, and I'd be like, and they'd be like, no, put it away. Like, you sure? Because I would, because you're nice people. But Now I'm just like, the bill comes and I'm like, give it to fucking Papa here. He's got
I hear that
shit. He'll take care of it.
Even it, like when you go, like think about like group birthdays and stuff like that, and you go for somebody's birthday and it's like a group meal, and like I hate bringing like I hate because I eat bare minimum when I go to these things because like I hate paying for the part splitting somebody else's meal. Like even at that point, like think about how much money you waste splitting a whole bill, and you might only eat like $30 out of it, and it's a $600 bill.
I'm a separate checks kind of guy.
I've learned that. Like now, separate check me, please. I don't want to split nothing because it's a waste of money. It's a waste of funds, and I'm not paying for somebody else's, especially when I don't drink. Like I don't drink, and I know that drinks are $10, and I see people at parties getting like 5-6 drinks, and then everybody's trying to split the bill. Nah, I'm good. I
had a buddy who was unemployed for like the better parts of 2 years. And he called me up and he asked me if I wanted to grab lunch. And I thought, what? You're not fucking, am I buying you a sandwich? Is that what the fuck is happening? And so sure, we met up and he's like, oh, dude, great to see you, blah, blah, blah. And he gets an appetizer and shit. And I think he knew. He knew I was going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? So fucking thing comes, right? And just, oh, man, thanks so much. Like you didn't know that shit was happening. Can you believe? Dude, I left. He texted me like 20 minutes after we left. He's like, we should do this every week.
What, me paying? No.
Grabbing lunch. So great to see. We should do this every week. It's like, is the expectation I'm going to fuck right?
You got next time. Yeah. On you.
We haven't had lunch since.
Set that precedence early. And that's the other thing. Like, what's the good thing to do, right? So like if I know I'm going somewhere and they're even say, hey, let me take you to lunch, I'm not ordering anything above what they order. So like if somebody orders like a chicken for like $15, guess what my cap is? $15.
Yeah.
My meal cap is $15.
It's reasonable.
I hate that when I take, not necessarily when I take somebody out. Well, yeah, let's use dating, for example. You meet a girl, and this has happened to me before, right? Meet a girl, you order your food, and then she has appetizers, like 2 appetizers. And then she's ordering the steak or the lobster, and then she's getting the dessert, and then she's drinking and I'm like, God damn. It's not that I don't have it, but how much more are you going to just run the fuck up?
Yeah.
Super unnecessary. So Curtis, I as far as my rules, I never order more than what the person above me orders. And a lot of times, even if it's something that I might not be interested in, I'll probably just, hey, I'll take the same.
I've learned to, I don't want to say take advantage, because I feel the same way. My wife's uncle is pretty wealthy, and he's got a house out in the Cape. And it seems like, I don't know why, but probably because he's always out there. And so whenever he's out there, I bring my golf clubs, and we hook up for golf.
Gotcha.
And the first time we went, he was like, oh, let's meet early. He's like, oh, I'll get us a bucket of balls. We'll go to the range. Maybe we'll take a putting lesson or some shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, all right. He's going to pay for the round. It was like $80. You know what I mean? I was already like, all right. And then we ate afterwards. We went to the clubhouse, and I got a burger and a beer.
Yeah.
He was like, want another beer? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And he was like, he's like, listen, he's like, it's my pleasure to do this. You're coming out and hanging out with me. And I was like, give me another beer.
Yeah.
Let me get another one. The tallie. The big one. And by the way, you know what? How about another burger? Because fuck it.
Yeah.
So,
but it was offered to you.
It was offered. I always do the oh no.
Yeah, deny at least once.
Gotta do maybe no, twice. You can't. No, you do. All right, fine. Next one's on me.
Yep.
All right. It's got to be that.
Yeah, you got to have that kind of stuff.
I like that. That I could live with.
Yeah. It can't be just a one-way street. I was into the toxicity level while we're on it. There was a guy, I know I didn't put it in the notes earlier, but Have you ever heard of this guy named Derek Jackson? I honestly don't expect you to. Social media guy, really big on like giving information, like relationship tips, and like so. Anyways, bet. So this guy Derek Jackson, he's a black guy. He a couple years ago, I was introduced to him through social media because this guy he made his like platform based off of like dogging men and being like, hey women, if your man isn't kissing your feet and rubbing your back, let him go. He's a piece of shit. Men cheat. Da, 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 da. So like he just made his platform dogging men and just like, you know what I mean, like giving women, I don't know, giving women a false sense of like who men really are. You know what I mean? Like he was like, some women are like, oh, he's giving all the cheat codes, he's giving all the guy secrets and stuff like that, when really he was just bashing men, right? So now, and that was the other thing, he would always, your wife is your queen, never do anything bad to her, never da 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 da, right? So recently, in the past like week, it's come out that this idiot, Derek Jackson, or this hypocrite, he's been making a living off of relationship advice and, you know, dogging men. He's been alleged that he's been cheating on his wife.
Of course,
not just 1 year, at least 2 years,
yeah,
allegedly.
Of course,
allegedly. So it's just like this came out. You know what I mean? First and foremost, like I was just like, it wasn't a shocker to me because it seems like always
it
the
never
people
is.
like that have the most to say are pretty much doing the wrong shit, right?
All the
time. So I was super happy because I'm like, yes, perfect. He's out of here, right? But then I get on Clubhouse because I see a cancel him room, right? And like women are like, nope, I'm not canceling him because he can, you know, he can talk about his experience now through cheating. And I'm like, so y'all still subscribe to this after he's contradicted everything he's preached to you, everything, right? So I'm like, first and foremost, he's not a licensed professional. He's a social media star that has like 1.3 million followers. And that's who you guys are like calling your Lord and Savior. This is your God. This is your King, right?
I don't get it.
But he's doing this. And then it kind of brought into a deeper kind of theory, right? So if you're still supporting this, how ass backwards is it? In my mind, it would be like supporting or like paying for a therapist. And you're seeing your therapist all the time.
Yeah.
But come to find out, like you go to a bar or you go to a dinner and you see your therapist doesn't see you and they're talking to somebody. I'm like, man, I know I'm a therapist, but fuck therapy. Therapy is horrible. Or like a finance, like would you hire a therapist that didn't believe in therapy? Or would you hire a finance person that was shitty in finances? They might have all the best logic in the world, but their bank account stays negative.
Put your money in penny stocks. That's the future.
So you know what I'm saying? But even if their information is right,
yeah,
would you still be like inclined? Like so not. It just blew my mind how like toxic this dude is in our culture, and people are still just following this.
But you just watched Donald Trump for 4 years fuck everything up, and a whole cult of people were like, yeah, he's here to save the world. Okay, that guy, sure, dumbass, maybe. Dude, you're exactly right, though. The people that scream the loudest about something, you ever notice it? Like the Congress people that are the most anti-gay always get caught sucking dick in the bathroom.
They're getting their dick sucked by
It's somebody. Just what they do. And it's like, dude, you know, you could have just sucked dick and nobody would have cared. But it was like that nobody can suck dick. Nobody can unless I get to. It sucks. It must suck to feel repressed and angry like that, I suppose. But yeah, dude, there was how many of these stupid families, the Duggars and all of them. I think that what's her face, fucking the chick that bakes, Gaines. What's her name? Kathy Baines or Gaines? Her and her guy. You know what I'm talking about? He was out there stepping. Of course he was. Oh, look at them. They look like they look like such a great couple. Yeah, that guy's got $1 million fucking dollars now, and he's banging every whore he meets. Was anybody surprised to learn that Tiger Woods was fucking every single person he met?
No, not at all.
Nobody tells that guy no, and he's got an infinite amount of money. That automatically equals you can fuck everybody. And they're just going along with it, hoping $1 might fall out of your pocket. right?
Yeah, and not saying that it's right, but
it isn't
that.
It's definitely
that's what society has.
No, it's not right. We could guarantee it's not right. I'll take it. I was going to say we don't know, but we do. It's not right, but it's the way shit goes. So what are you going to do? These people are. Listen, oh God Almighty, dude! Earlier this week, my buddy Dan was a really good dude. Fucking love this guy. I've known him for a long time. When it comes to politics, just the dumbest fucking person I know. And maybe he's watching. I hope he is. This guy sent me a video of fucking Joe Biden tripping up the stairs. And he's like, "That's your hero?" Motherfucker, where have I ever given any indication that I look up to any politician in any way, shape, or form? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Just lost.
I don't hold anybody up to like cult fucking status. I don't. I really don't. I don't give a shit. Like, I love the Yankees. I don't love everybody on it. Sometimes they trade a guy. Fuck it. I hate that guy now. I can turn my emotions on and off like that. I'm not forced to like anybody.
No, not at all. Not at all. And that's the perfect freedoms. Perfect freedoms.
That's more freedom than not wearing a fucking mask. That's more freedom right there. You want to protest and show how fucking tough you are? Do that shit.
Do that. Well, if you want to do all that and you want to be angry, go ahead and do that. That's while we pay some bills. And then we'll get right back to it. And I hope that I hope that people start actually like living to what they actually say they are. You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't that fucking be something?
I love wiffle ball. No other way to explain it. Just something about the game, the feel of the grass, smacking that ball all over the field, making plays, diving head first, whatever it takes to get the job done. That's what wiffle ball means to me. Striking out grown men, watching their knees buckle on a called third strike. Sit out, bud. And then, of course, the home runs, the base hits, the big home runs at the big moments. That's a whiff of greatness. Join us all season long for the Joe Aguirre Story, a CMG podcast.
Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
Can you believe it?
It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years.
Fires. Swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. The Red Sox have won the world championship.
Tune in to the newest show presented by Clovercrest Media. It's Obie's Backstop Podcast. Catch it twice a week, every Red Sox series finale on your favorite podcast platform.
Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast. Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman. But speaking of those Lakers, hold on. But I didn't make my. I said Denver's gonna win. Yeah, you did. You said that. There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
It sounds like a good canoe cologne line. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. What up, JT? How you doing, brother? Oh man. So
by the way, JT's been asking me to grab lunch for a really long time, and I keep saying, I'm like, we got to do it. And then I saw this comment: if I invite someone out, I'm paying the bill, but not paying any mind of what they ordered. Just make that clear off the rip.
Hell yeah.
JT, I'm around, man. Let's grab some lunch.
Hell yeah, let me join in too.
Let's do this. Can I bring my friend and you buy us both lunch? Yeah.
Get it right in.
I like it, man. Like a lot.
Talking about buying things right. Have you ever been offended by the word human? Being called a human?
No. I can't imagine how I could.
So Pete, right? Here I am at my local Dunkin' Donuts. I put using my mobile app. I love that thing. Like, I love the Dunkin' mobile app. Like, I get it. I get it now. Like, it's perfect. Right?
Yeah. It's
great. It's so good. Like I've timed it perfectly. Like especially at the location because it's literally I can throw a rock at Dunkin' from my house. Right? So I go in, place my order. I take a walk. I get there a little bit early, right? And so there's a young black man that works there, and me and him engage all the time. Hey, black man, how you doing? Giving us some black love, right? Enjoying
that's nice.
Us being, camaraderie, encouragement through these tough times living in America, right? So as I walk in, I'm in there. I see this guy in a yellow vest, you know what I'm saying, look like a construction dude. And he's sitting there on his phone, mask barely on, right? So I kind of have an idea who this person is or what kind of person he is, right? So boom, my coffee comes up. He hands it to me. Appreciate you, Black King. I'll see you later, brother. Just like that. What comes out of this bigot's mouth?
Oh, jeez.
Why do you guys always have to make it about race? First and foremost, Mr. Mayonnaise. I didn't call him that, but in my head, like I called him Mayonnaise. Thank you, Charlemagne the God. But first and foremost, Mr. Mayonnaise, nobody was fucking talking to you. I was talking to that black man over there. So secondly, like, dude, well, not even secondly, just don't fucking talk to me, especially something like that, because we weren't talking to you. Right. Why do you have to make it about race, right? So I go to tell Buddy, shut up. You are a stupid mayonnaise human, because I had to get my words together. So instead of calling him a mayonnaise cracker, ass cracker, and all this other crazy shit, right? Just you're mayonnaise human. I like to throw insults that, you know what I mean? I like to throw insults that might throw you off a little bit. So I was thinking like it would throw him off and him be like, what? Well, not only did it throw him off, he literally pretty much second what the fuck I said. You know what his response was?
What?
He goes, no, you're the stupid one. I'm white and American.
Wow.
And with the straightest face ever, he goes, no, you're the stupid one. I'm white and American. So instead of like snapping on him because exactly your DNA has a top. Why did I not? Fuck. And I said I was going to use that one. Your DNA has a typo.
That is really great, isn't it?
Thank you for reminding me. I got to put that in my phone. So like everybody's looking at him like, wait, dude, he called you a human.
Can we get a T-shirt with that on there?
Yes. Oh yes. Hey, new merch coming for I'll Piss You Off.
I love it, dude. Yes.
So, but I was just like, I called you a mayonnaise human, and you got offended so much to the point that you had to defend yourself by calling yourself, letting me know that you're a white and American. Like that takes precedent over being a human being.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that I just felt that story was funny, and I always wish that I'm like, damn. I'm always saying it, like, why can't that be me? Why can't that be me? And then some ignorant shit happens, and then he just puts his foot so far in his mouth, I literally just had to walk away after I said it. And just enjoyed my coffee with my sweet cream on top.
Why do you people always have to make it about race?
And then leads with I'm white and American.
Oh my God.
Or follows with it. Yeah, so that man, I'm
but again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, right, because the counter to the right-wing response to people being woke, right, is virtue signaling.
Mm-hmm.
That's you don't really believe in equal rights, or you don't really support BLM. You just say that so that people like you.
Exactly.
And I say that anybody who even thinks that that's what's happening, I think you're a fucking racist. And I think that you can't wrap your mind around a word called empathy. That you could sit there and have a conversation with a black dude, or like I was saying in the other show, editing Lovey's podcast, talking about microaggressions and feeling like an asshole white person who's like allowed that sort of transgressions to go by, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize it was such a big deal. How is having empathy and realizing that that's fucked up? You know what I mean? Like how do you sit back and you're like, yeah, well, fuck it. I don't know.
Because they don't want to see it. They don't want to have the empathy, and it's
gotta be.
It's too much for them to process, or it's like too much effort. Like to them, I'm sure it feels like they're giving too much effort to something that they truly don't care about. So when you don't care about it, you just, whatever. Makes you wonder if he had a Miracle Whip. That's funny. Yeah, he probably does use Miracle Whip instead of fucking mayonnaise. Fucking weirdo. All I'm saying is, like, if you have to, well, not even attack. I don't want to sound like some people using big words for unnecessary words for actions, right? But like, if you have to literally interrupt a conversation through two black men because you got offended,
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, there's something deeper, and I just didn't have the time. I wanted to enjoy my iced Irish cream with sweet foam on top. I love the sweet foam.
Imagine what a seething fucking psycho racist you have to be, where you see two black guys talking and you're like, fuck that!
How dare you break each other up?
You guys like each other way too much. Bullshit. Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. You can't be black.
You're like, wait a minute, dude. Tap the fucking brakes. They weren't like throwing that crip sign at each other. Jesus Christ.
We came in there banging, stacking on them. Like,
right? Fucking God, dude. What's wrong with people? Again, if you still don't understand white privilege, again, the idea that you could just walk up to two black guys talking in public and be like, I don't like this conversation. Stop having it. Are you insane? Just fucking leave. There's like another Dunkin' Donuts like right down the street. Go to fucking that one then.
He was probably mad because he was still waiting for whatever the fuck he was ordering. And I literally just walked in, and 10 seconds later, my coffee was handed to me.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I don't know. You know what else I don't get? QAnon. But we're in luck. HBO documentaries has finally released Q Into the Storm, where it literally breaks down. It's a journalist going back to find the mysterious Q, and it goes into all the history of it, how it developed, and it ties it into all of the Capitol riots and all that other stuff too as well.
Don't give away the ending.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, yeah.
Do they find out who Q is?
I don't know. I did not finish. I didn't finish the whole thing. What?
I don't believe. Yeah.
Where's Q? Like, where's Waldo?
Yeah. There's no Q. I remember the day of the inauguration. Do you remember that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, on Parler, I guess they started going ape shit. After noon on the 20th, they were like, what the fuck?
What are we doing?
What's going on here? Biden's the president. And then one of them, no shit, like, there's about 4 or 5 people that, like, are voices within the QAnon organization, like, that are influential. 2 of them were like, Biden's Q. Been it all along.
You got it. We figured it out.
It's been Biden from the start. I kid you not. This fucking happened to it. And they started splitting in the factions. And people were like, that's not the real QAnon. This one is. And they were like, they were duping you. We told you it was Trump, but it was always Biden. Bow.
Got you, bitch. But yeah, so check that out. I definitely highly recommend.
I will tell you this, like religion, where the answer could always just be bullshit, you'll never get anything figured out. For 2 years, QAnon made predictions about things that were going to happen, and they hit at like a 2% accuracy rating. And yet they kept kicking the can down the road, and people just kept believing it. Why? Because it was what they wanted to hear. In 3 weeks, they're going to be a big roundup. Hillary and Obama and Eric Holder and Connolly, they're all going to jail. And that weeks would go by, and people would be like, when's the big roundup in the store? When that shit happening? And they were like, oh, it's going to be next month, actually.
Just like they're going to take over the Capitol, in 4th of July now.
And now they're all out of office. And the Democrats, the liberals are in charge.
Scary,
oh, my God. What's going to happen?
I'm tripping. I just saw Jared's comment, Black Kings and Brothers. Shake my head. I'm going to Starbucks.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah. But, speaking of...
That's hilarious. Good God.
These
comments are killing it.
What if your friend at Dunkin' Donuts had diabetes? You aren't being understood. Hey, that's his problem. And you would think that I'm black. I should be the one with diabetes. Knock on wood, but luckily I have a clean bill of health. That's why I've been drinking all this water. Man, it's been running through me. It's crazy. So, like, my doctor goes, yeah, like you're fairly healthy, you're good, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, I'm thinking about it because I could have sworn my doctor kind of smelled like cigarettes. So it's funny, like when you're like, stop taking the nicotine and you kind of smell it. Just, like when you smoke, it was crazy. I haven't had a butt, as you call it, in a long time. I've been.
Is that what I say?
Right? Yeah, you call it a butt.
I do. I don't know why. What is this? 1994?
I don't know. But luckily, I've been around a bunch of old time military dudes, so like I understand. Like,
you speak that language.
I speak that language.
No,
right?
I hear you.
So I'm just like, that's kind of an interesting contradiction. Since we're kind of been talking about contradictions, right? He's like, yeah, you should really like kind of cut back on the nicotine use. As I smell a hint of Marlboro right on him. But in my mind, where was I going with this? Doctor telling me to stop smoking.
Yeah. You did it?
Well, yeah. No, I'm still vaping. I'm still vaping. Damn. Anyways, I lost my train of thought.
Well, let me say this, because my wife and I had a conversation similar to what you just brought up. I have been lying to my doctor for my entire life. I had literally 3, like, what do you call it? Like a personal physician. Mm-hmm. The first 2 were old white guys. You know, they'd be like, you ever smoke weed? And I'm like, no. Drink? No. Smoke? No. Never. Don't do any of that shit, I would tell them. And they'd be like, does anything hurt? And even though everything did, I'd be like, no, I feel great. And they'd be like, all right, perfect with health. And I'd be like, hey, look, I mean, great. Everything's great.
You lied your way through the test.
And so the last doctor I had, it was I have a female doctor now. Mm-hmm. But before I get to her, I got to get to this guy. He was an Indian guy.
Okay.
But he didn't have an accent or anything.
Okay, good.
Like he spoke as clear and as like
super Americanized.
Very, very, yes. Like shockingly. And he did CrossFit. And like, you know, he was like,
oh, super American.
Oh, yeah, dude. And we started talking. He's like, you know, you ever smoke butts? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like sometimes, you know, you got to drink. He's like, oh, I'm like, oh, yeah, I smoke weed every now and again. And now, so he left the practice. He moved away. And the new doctor was a Muslim female doctor. A little bit of an accent, not bad. Like, totally understand her. I don't know what it is about this woman. She's been my doctor for like 5 years now. I tell this chick everything. I have never trusted a doctor more. I tell this woman literally everything I've done, everything or anything. I'm like, what is this? And she's fucking them. I'll email her and be like, well, I got a thing. Is that all right? Or what do we?
She's so comfortable.
I don't know what it is.
That's good though.
It is because, like I said to my wife, I'm like, anytime a doctor ever asks me a question, I just fucking lie. And I'm thinking, what's the answer supposed to be? Yeah, no, nothing hurts, I guess. I don't know, but it's important that you tell your doctor shit.
Yeah.
The truth.
And that's where I was getting at with it. So he was saying, he was like,
glad I can get you there. That's good.
He was saying to like, because he asked me, he was like, so how, you know, because I told him, I said, as I vape, like anybody that smokes, right? In the morning after you have that first cigarette, you're at the toilet. I'm sorry. Like if you're a coffee drinker, I don't know, maybe. I know for me,
it does rattle your system.
You're there, right? So for me, I would hear everybody say, you know, think about like, especially like holistically, right? You eat 3 times a day. And maybe the normal person might do 1 to 2 movements a day if they're lucky.
Yeah.
So like your body's really not flushing, and really your colon or your stomach your intestines, whatever, can hold a certain amount of pounds and waste, period, right? So I'm like, I was nervous because I'm like, I go a lot. Like to me, it seemed like irregular, right? But I'm just like, I release myself a lot in that way. She's like, no,
irregular in the sense that it's often.
Yeah. So, and she goes, well, not she, my doctor is he, and he goes, well, what do you drink? Like your fluid intake. And I'm like, I drink a lot, you know, but he was like, no, how much water do you drink? Not as much as I probably should.
Right.
I'm a big juice guy, right? I like to have some kind of like flavor.
Of course.
Right? So he was like, try switching your juice with water. Like drink a lot more water, and at least like your body will, because right now your body's just pushing all of that nicotine and all that shit out.
Sure,
So that's why
your
going.
body's dying for the nutrients and vitamins. Dude, I went like 5 years without drinking any water other than the shower.
So
same. I'm with you.
So
Juice for years.
So now, like, I've been on like a good week of like at least trying to do one water bottle. Right?
That's good,
and it has helped.
Yeah,
and I'm like, holy shit. So they're like, at least balance it out. I'm not going to tell you to stop smoking. I'm not going to tell you because you're going to do it. If you're going to do that, it dehydrates you. That's why your body's pushing stuff out because it's dehydrated. It's trying to do that. So hydrate your body into a counterbalance. Well, not saying that, it's going to equal itself out, but it will help the systems. And that's been working. And I was super surprised because I'm like, dude, I lived a horrible life in the military. I drank, smoked, big, fat, whatever you want to call it. But they're like, yeah, surprisingly, you're super healthy. And that was my thing. Like, I was scared to go and like learn these things because when you tell them, finally, it only took you guys an hour and a half to get to the But anyway, so like I was glad, but I'm scared too sometimes because I feel like if I start being honest with somebody, that's when all the problems are gonna come. Like only because then now they're looking for something, so I'm just like, but it feels good to sit there and say, yeah, I might vape instead of smoke, but it's all bad. But
my doctor says shit to me like, that's why I love her. She'll be like, how many cigarettes do you smoke? I'm like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 a day, maybe. And she's like, that's not bad.
Oh, no.
Look, it could be 20 or 40. That would be a problem.
I remember when I was busting almost, of course, I would give like 3 or 4 away, but busting through like 2 packs a day.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
I've definitely,
Hundos.
That's horrible.
Hundos.
I used to smoke Marlboro Reds.
So,
Yeah, dude, So, I get it. But I don't know. There's just something about having a doctor that you could really talk to, and because there's a lot of shit at this age.
Literally,
dude, I'm like 4 years away too from I'll be 50.
Oh,
you know what happens at 50, bro?
2 fingers.
Yeah. She actually said to me, again, that's why I love this woman. She's amazing. She's the best doctor I've ever had. She said to me, she always sends me out for blood work and shit. Which is, I guess, how they can kind of whether there's something to be concerned about. She's like, dude, I'm looking at all your blood work. She's like, other than your fucking, we're always working to keep my cholesterol. My cholesterol is elevated, not high.
Gotcha.
And my whole family has high cholesterol. I told her that, and she was like, you don't have to be on medication or anything for that because it's hereditary partially. You can always keep an eye on it, though. So we're always keeping an eye on it. I have high blood pressure, same shit. My whole family has it. Yeah. I've had high blood pressure since I was like 14.
Okay.
I take a pill for it. That's it. I have no other issues. And so, she says I should, because I told her, I'm like, I like ice cream.
Yep.
And she's like, have ice cream like 3 times a week instead of 5.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I like it. Yeah. I like this.
She's like, what do you do for exercise? I was like, well, I try to golf, but I don't get out enough. And she's like, she didn't say, ow. She's like, tell your wife that you should go out and golf more. And I was like, can you tell her that? Because I think if you said it, I think she'd believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's always stuff like that. She's like, you can't deny yourself.
You gotta,
you like the ganj, bro. She's like, you gotta have the ganj, but you don't have to get super stoned every day.
And now, what's crazy? So like, and this is how I think like I'm the dumpster baby. Like I was a trash can baby and they like adopted me, like found me in the trash can and scooped me up. So like my brother he's had high blood pressure. Like that's ran in our family for so long. I see the doctors and they do blood work. I'm like, yo, you're healthy. Like, I don't know. Were we doing a podcast when I had the hospital scare? And I had like the seizure.
Yes, that was like, pretty early on. Yeah.
I had a full blown fucking seizure, and they're like, dude, you're healthy, like an athlete healthy. And here I am missing my vape and like my bud and everything else like that. And even the doctor was saying like after they did like an oxygen like a test, they're like, the leaf medicine is the herbal medicine is probably helping. It's probably more, it's not hindering you as much. And because he even asked me, he goes, do you use paper? Do you use leaf? I'm more of a paper guy.
It's not like dude wanted to hang out.
It's not
like he was getting at.
But I was like, all right,
you smoke the weed? What do you do? You roll it or do you pipe it? What do you got, a ball? Because I'm around.
So,
that's what it sounded like.
hey, I'm just like, as long as I know that I'm okay, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of other things. Even I said this before. Like I was when I went to see a psychiatrist and all that shit early, like 2014, 13, 14, I was on mad pills. Mad pills. The moment I was taking off the piss test, the urinalysis test, when I was about to get out, I switched to my leaf medicine. Everything switched. Like I didn't need all those dependents. Like I wasn't dependent on these damn pills. I wasn't in like bad mood swings. I can actually live. We have a special guest enjoying Joe's liquid right now. It's funny. But anyways, but yeah, it's crazy how like once you learn your body, at least get checkups. I guess that's what we're promoting, getting checked out. I don't even know how we got on that, but that was a nice little health segment.
Yeah, you know what? There's nothing wrong with a little health segment, I always say.
Let's see. We're an hour and a half in. Let's see. Joe only needs to get super high on Friday nights. He will talk for hours. You know, that's the problem. So I said this in the comments before. Anybody that follows, make sure you guys are liking and following the group page. I'll pitch it off shortly, the group page. But I had said we're talking. I had mentioned in the comments how like we'll do a whole show after this show in the comments, and like usually it's because like I've decided to take my medicine right after we get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in a whole nother zone. We're thinking and talking a whole bunch of other things. So that's funny Frank said that. I was going to mention, so I guess we can quickly hit this topic about the Capitol riots since we were talking about it, about how the feds pretty much are saying that like they're going to have trouble at least bringing charges on out of the 800 people that stormed and, well, not people, out of the 800 terrorists that stormed the Capitol that day. They have about 300, more than 300 people.
We're just going to let the other 500 go.
Yeah, and pretty much they're saying that they might be able to pull charges on 100 more cases, but outside of that, we have to let it go. Why is that? Due to the vast amount of time going by, it allowed these terrorists to delete profiles, get rid of evidence, threaten witnesses, and try fleeing country. And it's shown in court documents that these are the reasons, and these are the reasons why the feds are saying we might not be able to, do that. So when you look at the stats, right, and real quick on the stats, on that day of the coup, and the terrorists tried to take over the government, Metro Police only arrested 25 for unlawful entry, and that was Metro Police, and then Capitol Police only arrested 14 people. And then they're also saying that due to the fact that they were allowed to leave, that also will kind of lower the charges and all that.
Well,
stuff. So,
personally, I think they should have shot more people while they were there. The cops, I mean.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, if you try and take over a federal establishment, I know if you try and run a coup on a military base,
yeah,
you're out before you get that fucking first gate.
I'm shocked that. I mean, to me, you got to do everything you can to put every single person who was there that day behind bars. That's the worst thing that ever happened in this country ever. Ever.
Okay.
That might be the worst, literally the worst thing that's ever happened in the United States. And I say that knowing slavery and the Civil War happened. I mean, that was pretty fucking bad. That was pretty bad too because it was so planned.
It was so planned, and they've just let it go. Like they've literally set the precedent up to just whatever, you guys can do whatever. But that's the sad part, that if it was another group, it wouldn't end that way.
Did you know too, by the way, that we were the only country in the world that still had slavery when we had slavery?
Yes.
When it started, everybody else was already like, "Yeah, you can't do that shit. That's fucked up."
But it's crazy how and it was just all And I remember
Christians, people, guys,
and you know what? That's crazy. So when, I think that's going to be the next topic, and we'll get into that actually right away. Nobody wins when the family feuds, and that is all about. Let's see. So they're tearing down the statues and limitations. Yo, Jared is on a roll tonight.
Jared is very. Jared should work on every single show just for the one-liners, because they come fast and furious, and they're always good.
He's good. But like I was saying, I wanted to start with go into nobody wins when the family feuds. Recently, I don't want to mispronounce her name. Samara Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old who was shot by Cleveland police officer in November of 2014, has been calling out activists such as Tamika Mallory, who has taken a strong presence in the Black Lives Matter movement, and and activism. But yeah, she's called Tamika Mallory out as to be perceived as a clout chaser. Sarah Rice posted on social media, "You Black Lives Matters, Tamika Mallory and crew bitches, that's riding these families' backs. Y'all ambulance chasing attorneys, aka Ben Crump, Lee Merrick, too. Y'all have fucked up our fight, and y'all can kiss my ass too." So, when I read this, I wasn't mad at her.
No, not at all.
I was not mad at her at all because, one, she makes a very valid point. Within all this activism, right, you use the likeness of her son's name, use her son's situation to, of course, push a certain agenda, to study, to become activists. But in her statement, she also went on to say, like, you guys are getting paid for it, and nobody, none of the families are seeing any kind of like not reimbursed, but any kind of financial restitution. There we go. Financial restitution for them using his name, and using anybody's name, right? So and I said, damn, that's fucked up, right? Tamika Mallory, from working with Beyonce, working with all these, starting all these events. Hell, I remember seeing a flyer for for a Breonna Taylor barbecue, a BBQ they called it, and Tamika Mallory, Drake, all these people were on the flyer. Matter of fact, I think I got the flyer in my phone. So imagine the money that was made in donations and everything else like that. And of course, they got to pay all these people. They got to pay Drake. They got to pay Tamika. They got to pay these people. Yandy Smith from Love and Hip Hop, and none of the families have seen these funds. Like, not saying that they deserve everything, but yes, if we're here to actually help and provide support, then yes, their restitution needs to be a cut. Especially if these are the families and the lives and the people that you continuously speak on. These are the situations that you keep continuously promote and try and get these laws prevailed with. Like, it's fucked up. And she makes a very, very valid point. What do you think, Joe?
I'm shocked that Ben Crump doesn't get mocked more in pop culture, because, not for nothing, I have noticed now that Ms. Rice mentions it, Ben Crump is like the new Al Sharpton.
Yes.
Where when there's shit going down, it's like, hey, Ben Crump's here.
Yep.
What do you need?
Yep.
It's a little much, dude. Like, I don't know. Stay in your city. Are there other Ben Crumps? Are there other like black civil rights lawyers in other cities who could attend to wherever that's happening? Because, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, wherever there was shit, they showed up. And it's like, what? You leave it to the local leadership here to handle it. You're divisive characters, and it's unfortunate. I know a lot of people that hate Jesse Jackson, and I used to dislike Jesse Jackson a lot. And then I realized what Jesse Jackson was all about. And he's different than Al Sharpton. Not much different, but different enough. People get angry when outsiders come in to point to their problems, right? Everybody wants to, we'll take care of the shit. Like, that's sort of the mindset that people have. And they don't like when other people come in and tell them what to do. And, right? I mean, the story now, whenever something, obviously they're a little out of date here, but whenever something would happen, right? The Duke case or whatever, those two would show up. And now the story's no longer about what happened. Mm-hmm. It's about these two like race mongering opportunists being in town. And you would change the whole narrative of what was happening. And again, this is just like in 2016. Do these guys have a right to kneel? They're working. The NFL, they're being paid. They should protest on your own time. Right. Wait, that's not the conversation we're supposed to be having. Exactly. That's the conversation you want to have because you don't want to hear what's going on. Same thing with Sharpton and Jackson. You show up and now it's not about the police shooting. Now it's about these two fucking guys being here.
Exactly.
That doesn't help. It hurts. I think what she said, Mrs. Rice said, is 1,000% true, and it seems like because here's the other thing. I support Black Lives Matter, and I've been I've mentioned this a few times. I like Colin Kaepernick. I'm really interested to hear what he's got to say on the topic. He didn't really say shit.
Gotcha.
He didn't really there was never a moment where Colin was like, all right, everybody, let me tell you what's really going on here. And he just broke shit down, and you were like, oh. I do remember they were like, who'd you vote for? And he was like, yeah, I don't fucking vote. And they were like, oh, get the fuck out of here, dude. Are you serious? You don't even vote? You're just running your mouth, and you're not even doing anything. The whole time I was like, dude, I just want Colin Kaepernick to have a press conference and invite fucking Killer Mike and real fucking activists and be like, hey, everybody, I'm Colin Kaepernick. Thanks for being here. I don't know dick about anything. But I brought these motherfuckers. Listen up.
Facts.
I was waiting for Colin to do that in the worst way because he started all this shit and then
went away.
He got super. That's a word I'm trying to say here.
He became
he almost forced himself out of the NFL from the jump. Mm-hmm. Right? Whether he should be back or in, that's a whole other topic. I think he should be back in because I think he's better than at least half the quarterbacks in the league currently, but that's a whole other debate. Mm-hmm. The floor was his.
Yeah.
He literally, there was a couple other players, Eric Reed, Michael Bennett, a few other players who really took leadership roles in Black Lives Matter. But it was always supposed to be Colin's thing.
I don't think he was prepared.
No, he wasn't because he doesn't
the leadership aspect.
Because the problem with what people don't understand about Colin Kaepernick is, first of all, Colin Kaepernick, in addition to obviously he's not 100% black, right? You could tell he's of mixed race, but he was raised by a white couple, adopted. So he was,
and that culture.
He was the Kaepernick's kid. Yeah. Colin Kaepernick. That's not his real name. That's his adopted name. Colin Kaepernick, dude. That kid's got bright fucking red hair and freckles. Okay? I think for Colin Kaepernick, I think what happened was when he was 14 and he was the quarterback in town, everybody loved him, right? Mm-hmm. He was a white kid with a white family. And then he was 16, and then he was 18, and then he went to college, and then he was 22, and then he was a black dude. And I think the shock to Colin Kaepernick that at some point he went from being like a white kid to a black dude was like, what the fuck?
Smacking the fucking face.
And I think black people told him, like, bro, this is what we've all been doing since we were little.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Colin understood enough. I don't think he felt comfortable taking on that leadership role because he didn't have that experience. Because for him, I think it was a relatively newer experience where people actually viewed him and he felt the bias of being a black person as opposed to being the Kaepernick's kid.
Exactly.
And that's got to be very jarring. And I could see where, you're around a lot of, I think he was dating a girl who was very involved in activism. This predated BLM, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think I've got that right. I'm pretty sure she was an activist and she was telling him shit and she's black. That she's got the hair and she's black. No one would is that a black woman? Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And so, right. So she's experienced that shit her whole life. And so she explained that to him. And I think he got around other people who were like, yeah, dude, that shit you found out when you were like 25.
Yeah.
We found out when we were 5.
Yeah.
And, big difference, bro.
And that was he bit off. I don't want to say he bit off more than
I think he did.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly right.
He bit off more than he could chew, and he wasn't prepared to be the voice after the activism. Like, you can't just stir the pot up and then not have a plan forward.
Right.
And he had no plan forward out of that. And then he stood up. Yes, he got shunned out. He got forced out of the I was about to say Army. He got forced out of the league, right? And then he just was quiet.
Yeah.
And then he let other people take reins of what he was steering. Like he was steering.
Yes.
He had the train going, And then I don't want to say he bailed, but he went all the way to the back car and was like, I'll come up whenever it's necessary or whenever it was beneficial for him, right? And then what I didn't like was when he was given the opportunity, they find, Jay-Z got involved in all that, and then they got, whether or not Jay-Z got him the tryout or whatever the case may be.
Hold up 1 second on that, because Colin disappears. They actually split into factions.
Mm-hmm.
There's Michael Bennett's group, and then there was the Eric Reed group. Now, Eric Reed was a 49er as well.
Yep.
He was with Colin from the jump. Michael Bennett was like, wait a minute, I've got all these different ideas, and Colin and Reed were like, bro, what the fuck are you talking? That's a different thing. And so, I mean, as much as, put it like this, Colin and Reed did not like what Jay-Z and Michael Bennett and the NFL did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate because what they did was like $100 million at causes that these guys were looking to help promote. So it got sort of like weirdly politically petty.
And that's where the disagreement, right? So when you get into that, right? So especially into our race, right? Into the Black culture, you will have the same agenda of, we want equality, we want activism, we want that. But then when you get down to it, we have the hardest time just agreeing on simple shit. You know what I mean? So like you have so many different agendas within that community. So then everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to be the face. Everybody wants to be the name of whatever the movement's going and be that, instead of coming together as a true group and sitting there saying, hey, if we can come together, we can come out with what we want to do, what our true wants are and needs, but we can't even come together as a community to do that. So of course they start butting heads, and then of course the black male ego, well, fuck that motherfucker, fuck that N-word, fuck that nigga, like, no. And that's exactly what happened. Instead of looking at the bigger picture and saying, we might not be able to get in life with anything, with any kind of negotiation, it is very rare that you get 100% of what you ask for.
Absolutely. Nobody ever does.
So
it's a problem.
It's the NFL. It all takes progression, right? So what I was saying with that was like, when he got the opportunity, if you're afforded the opportunity, it might not be in the best situation that you like, but take that opportunity and prove them fucking wrong. I would even if Colin was like, well, they set this up, cool. Go do that shit and prove to them that you fucked up. I can do this shit better, not hold some shit at a high school and do your own little training thing. No, even if you don't even want to go, even if you don't want to go back into the league.
Oh, dude.
Have a motherfucking team give you an offer and be like, you know what? No, I'm good. Don't just do your own thing and be like, no, I'm going to do this under my conditions and terms. Sometimes you have to play the fucking game. And at that point, play the game and then throw it in their face laterwards and then become a true activist. Even now, after that, we didn't hear shit from Colin. And that was the thing that pissed me off, right? When everything started with Colin, and I don't want to get into the whole Colin Kaepernick rant, but when he started, I said, cool. I'm not standing behind this until the money gets affected.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the money gets affected,
right,
that's when you truly see somebody's true colors. I'm not going to stand behind you and support you that once the money stops, you're going to fall back. So once the money stopped, I said, okay, he's still kind of going, but it wasn't with the same tenacity. It was like, okay, they shut me up, so I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
That's not what we needed as a community.
No, not at all.
We didn't need you. And this is my feelings, right? I'll sit there and say, I did not need Colin Kaepernick to make it a publicity thing, take, a magazine spread, and then just be gone. Take your little settlement from the league, and then do whatever. Like, you took your settlement. What are you doing now with it?
Right.
What is your purpose with it? What are you doing? Yes, it's your personal money, but you can't scream one thing and not to say that he didn't, because he definitely did donate a lot of money.
Sure, yeah,
but totally you got to do more than just be a philanthropist. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going to make a bold statement.
Movement,
You made a bold statement. Your statement needs to be just as loud as it started.
Dude, imagine if Martin Luther King was like, I have a dream.
And that was it.
And hopefully one of y'all can fucking fulfill it.
Yeah.
Peace out, motherfucker.
So
would have been a totally different scenario.
So I appreciate what Cap did, but I definitely wanted to see him do more. And even now, right? Going back to some Samaria Rice. She's not wrong. As a grieving mother, she knows firsthand what it's like to see other individuals benefiting from the death of her son, right? And from that, like, the people have failed. You know what I'm saying? And even right, I read Tamika Mallory's kind of statement because she did respond. She was pretty much saying like, we failed, Mrs. Rice and all these families. No, we didn't fail. The community did what we were supposed to do. You asked us to stand up and fight. Y'all failed them.
Yeah.
Y'all failed to make sure they were compensated in the best way possible so they can take care of their families, so they can, you know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Outside of shit, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend is still fighting his case. You know what I mean? These are things that are, hell, fucking George Floyd is still fighting his case, right? And that's just getting started.
Yeah.
That mess of it, you know what I mean? But so like we got to be there more instead of just trying to be a voice and then go for it. And what really killed me is the fact that, Tamika Mallory and Mrs. Rice never spoke, like personally, never met, never. So like, you can't like to hear that, like y'all never engaged and you're using like,
right. I'm like trying to make a name for myself off your dead 12-year-old son's back.
And literally getting financial gain. Right. People are hiring her.
You're an asshole.
You're getting paid to fly to these things. You're getting paid for this. This isn't just coming out of your budget. And even if it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's coming out of all these funds, all of these donations and shit like that. Like, that's a true activist. Do the shit. Take as minimal as you need and make sure you pay out the rest of these people. Make a better effort, right?
That's terrible.
Let's see here. Washington, D.C. is trying to become the 51st state. That's all in talks right now. I didn't have too much on that.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Are they doing that again?
They're trying to. So, yeah, hopefully we can get another state, and maybe we can start another state and possibly get rid of a state. And the state is an island, well, considered an island, the island of perverts, a.k.a. Rhode Island. And you're like, what's Rob talking about? Rhode Island perverts? So, what is Rob talking about? The state of Rhode Island has a law that allows teachers and those that fall into parental supervision roles to have consensual sexual relations with children above the age of 14, also allowing penetration with minors above the age of 16. So, you're like, what? This can't be right. So, everybody's like, well, the minors are, you know what I mean? We already have rules about, having sex with minors and stuff like that. Well, when you get into the state and you break it down state-wise, right? This law is a word. It's a wordplay law, right?
Whoa.
They are allowing relations with parental figures. So when I say that, right? If you drop your child off at school, they are considered by the state, the teacher, whoever's responsible for them at that time,
their
parental guardian at that time. So, because of the law, because of the wording, it is allowed, and it's super, super sick. So this a lady has been trying for the past 4 years to get this one law changed, right? This bill, and I clicked it. It's like Rhode Island 53.11 or some shit like that, right? One page document, just saying, hey, we just wanted to say that you just can't do it. It doesn't matter if you're in that parental role, it can't be done. So you have politicians that are like, well, if we make this law, it's gonna directly affect the volunteer people, and what about the teachers that
bullshit?
Yeah, like. No, because they're like, well, the volunteer like coaches and stuff like that, they might be above the age of 18, fairly young or just recent. No, guess what? I've never seen a volunteer coach that was under the age of 18. I've never seen a volunteer coach that was, that pretty much that was in high school, because that's pretty much what they're saying, that like, volunteer coaches can be of the same age and stuff like that. That's bullshit. And then they're also saying that the actual teacher union was trying to like back it and be like, yeah, we got to revisit this and just watch the wording and just. I'm like, yo, y'all are nasty. Y'all are effing nasty, right? So yeah, pretty much with the law, it is legal for teachers, school employees, school bus drivers, coaches, and all other adults in positions of authority to sexually touch the children in their care with their consent in a non-penetrative way once the child turns 14. It is legal for teachers, school employees, school bus drivers, coaches, and all other adults in positions of authority to have sexual intercourse with their children in their care with their consent once the child turns 16.
Jared pointed out that college scandal. They did it at Brigham Young University.
Oh, right. Yeah, BYU, Jesus.
Brigham Young.
But that's sick. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm nervous as fuck. Like,
that's fucked up. That really is.
Like, imagine your daughter turning 14 and she's legally allowed to give consent to go frolic around with Mr. Jones, who's 22 years old.
No, it's funny. My daughter the other day actually was telling us about the softball coach. He's like 20. She's like, he's a really nice guy. And I was like, you don't even play softball. What are you talking about?
Like,
what?
Yeah, like I don't even know. And like
weird.
Like, how sick do you have to be and there's sickos out there. There's a 14, 15-year-old. What is a 14, 15-year-old girl offering a 18-year-old?
Yeah.
Well, I can't say 18-year-old.
Yeah, look,
but like
there's
19,
something wrong with you. If you find anything about that attractive, especially mentally, you're fucked up. A friend of mine was a teacher, and his wife worked at the school as well, and he got busted. He had like a long-term relationship with a student.
Jesus.
And got arrested, and it was I mean, I remember my brother was at the school at the time. He was in the school, and I was like, holy shit, dude, like that guy, I've known that guy my whole life. I can't even believe it. And he was like, that dude broke up with this girl to date that girl. And I was like, what?
Probably smoking hot. This is what smoking hot. Like, yo, y'all are nasty, Rhode Island. Rhode Island, y'all need to fix y'all perverted selves, and get this shit fixed. Like, this is nothing to. And I looked at the agenda, right? As of March 9th, they literally had to push it back because they had to revisit and reword some things. And I'm like, y'all, what is there to reword? Stop the nonsense. Like, there's no reason. Somebody said it. There's no reason that somebody, a teacher should have. Frank said it. Sorry, but if you're a teacher, you should have no business being in a relationship or touching any child.
Well, not for nothing, but when you start getting flirty with a 14-year-old, that's actually called grooming. Again, dude, if you're sitting there and you're flirting with like a prepubescent girl, you're a fucking perv. They're like you are a pedophile.
Big pedophile.
You should be castrated and put down.
I saw a post that said, if we put down dogs because they attack and harm kids, why don't we do it with the pedophiles?
1,000,000%.
I strongly agree. I think I have another point to that, but y'all are just fucking perverted. Y'all are sick. And it makes me sick. Rhode Island, yeah, nasty island, the island of perverts. Go fix yourselves.
I just want to pop up one more comment from before. This was really funny when we were talking about MLK. I have a dream, and now I'm going to go back to bed and finish that dream. Can you imagine how differently things might have been?
Super. Well, let's see. Let's pay some more bills. Get you guys right with DJ Reefa. This weather is breaking. So if you're in the New England area, the tri-state area, you definitely want to hit up DJ Reefa. Like I said, she's going to be DJing my annual 4th of July since we're bringing it back since COVID is out of here, hopefully. So yeah, check her out.
There's always a holiday, birthday, or any celebration to look forward to. So why not prepare now and book your favorite DJ and or photographer? Book DJ Reefa, the most versatile female DJ around for your parties or small gatherings. Need a professional photo shoot done too? Then book Reef's Views to capture your dream shots as well. Don't need either, but still curious to check out the work? You can now find DJ Reefa on shopblackct.com, the best directory for all Black-owned businesses in Connecticut. On there, you'll find DJ Reefa's Instagram at Queen of All Trades, with 3 L's, where you can now look and book. Need more information but want to reach out directly? Email DJ Rifa at masonsharifa@gmail.com. Memories last a lifetime, so let's start making them.
Speaking of memories, once again, that was DJ Rifa. Make sure you go ahead, contact DJ Rifa, Queen of all trades, on like all social media. But, you know, for all of your custom needs, your custom designs, whether you want to make custom shirts, custom clothing, or even if you want to get into the sneaker game, if you're looking for those shoes that you just can't find right now, or that's hard to find, go ahead and check out Diamond Soles. Diamond Soles is where your customized shirts are made easy and your sneaker collection can grow by the masses. From tees to sportswear to sneakers, and exclusive water bottles and other accessories, Diamond Soles is your go-to customization shop. Owners Dante and Jordan will bring your vision to reality, providing nothing but quality. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at _Diamond Soles and let them create something special for you. Make sure you guys are checking out, checking out Diamond Soles. I think they're actually working on a special edition T-shirt. I'll push you up shortly, so be on the lookout for that as well. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit them up to get the your DNA
as a typo. That's fucking great.
So definitely check out Diamond Soles. I love them more than that. Since we're kind of in like the weather's been breaking and getting in kind of a good mood, I wanted to bring up a couple things. First thing was, did you hear about spring break in Miami this past weekend?
I have seen it.
Yeah. So spring break over the weekend, the city of Miami Beach had to take aggressive actions against the spring break crowd. Law enforcement immediately took force right after Miami Beach mayor declared a state of emergency. That was like a 8 p.m. like curfew. That entailed an 8 p.m. curfew and all that. But with that, I wanted to point out a couple differences, right? So when I'm looking at these videos of spring break and I'm looking at these pictures of like how the especially when the cops were interacting and engaging. So I noticed a lot of the pictures during the day, they were super big, large white crowds. So like the white kids were there, and it was like low-key separated, like segregated, like the white crowd was over there, the black group was over there, which is super not unnormal, especially down south. Because I've been like Tybee Island, Orange Crush. That's like was one of the big like black spring break things, and like Tybee Island is a big white like retirement area in Savannah, right? So like it would just turn into a swarm of black, and like no white people would be there unless like the cool white hip kids, right? That weren't scared to be around. So anyway, so kind of like that. So they decided to make a big deal at night, the 8 p.m. curfew, and where they were at and at Sobe, South Beach. It seemed like they were pretty much worried more about the black crowd. So like when I see the CNN news headlines, the Fox News lines, it's literally just attack. To me, it felt like the attack on the black crowd. Not going to say that as well. Not going to say that was true, but that's just what it looked like, right? And then it got me to thinking about also how just like throughout this whole year, we've seen nothing but in Florida. If we go a year from today, pretty much, they didn't give a fuck about that. They didn't want to hear about COVID for spring break. The whole year, Miami was open. Yeah. Beaches, West Palm Beach, like all those places, right? Packed. Beaches. But now, because I'm not going to lie, there was some niggas there. And there was a bunch of them. But now it's an issue. Now, when all the black people were coming to Miami a week ago, white kids had that shit packed. But now everything's shut down, right? And so I was like, yo, this is that bullshit that we were talking about, right? And what's crazy is right now they're saying, COVID complications. The Mayor Dan Gilbert said, too many are coming really without the intention of following the rules. And the results have been a level of chaos and disorder that is something more than we can endure. Mayor Gilbert, whatever your fucking name is, I call bullshit. Because you weren't worried about anybody following the rules the past fucking year when all these white kids were out there getting hammered and fucked up, dude. on their spring breaks and their summer vacations and saying, fuck these masks, fuck all this, we're going to the beach. I don't want to hear that noise. What it was there was an influx of black people and they were having a good fucking time partying. And y'all just decided to sit there and say, you know what? COVID, we got to be careful of COVID, so y'all got to get out of here. What happened to these small businesses that need to make money now? What happened to all these, restaurants and the bars and all these businesses that were hitting, that, weren't getting money and we need to open back up. But now the niggas open this shit back up and y'all are like, yeah, nah. And I want to bring up another thing. This goes, let's see, more than 50 people were arrested and 8 firearms confiscated since Friday. First and foremost, who's confiscating weapons in Florida? Everybody has. You can literally go to Florida and just pick up a weapon. So this is even more of a thing to me, right? So you weren't taking the white people's weapons, because I promise you, everybody in Florida has a weapon. You cross the border and it's like they hand you a gun. Welcome to Florida. Here's your gun. So like, I see your agenda, Florida. Miami Beach, I see your agenda and I get it, right? We'll bring up the differences again, right? So, bike weeks. Everybody knows I'm a huge motorcycle advocate, like big biker, right? You go to Myrtle Beach this Memorial Day weekend. So the weekend prior to Memorial Day is Myrtle Beach Bike Week.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, the white bike week. Memorial Day weekend, that turns into Black Bike Week. So peep the knowledge on this, right? Myrtle Beach Bike Week is scheduled this year for May 7th through the 16th. The Myrtle Beach Spring Bike Week, aka White Bike Week, is scheduled for May 7th through the 16th, 2021. Myrtle Beach Bike Week draws bikers from around the country for a week-long rally centering around the biker bars and vendors along the Grand Strand. Much of action is in and around the Myrtle's Inlet, just to the south of Myrtle Beach. Many hotels and condos that are along the Grand Strand area are biker friendly and ample parking for trailers, right? So now the Atlantic Beach Bike Fest, a week after Atlantic Beach Bike Week, is canceled for 2021. Why is that? Instead of, they just gave a beautiful explanation of why Myrtle Beach Bike Week is happening, right?
Yeah.
The Atlantic Beach Bike Fest takes place each Memorial Day weekend. The Atlantic Beach Town Council canceled the 2021 Bike Fest due to concerns over COVID-19. Ask me how far Atlantic Beach and Myrtle Beach are from each other.
They're close, aren't they? How far?
5 minutes, if that. Literally, they blend into each other. And literally, like, Myrtle Beach is this big-ass beach, and then Atlantic Beach is like a block long.
That's weird.
That doesn't seem fishy to me.
It's hard to explain.
So here we are once again. It's okay for all the white people to go ahead and have their bike week and, let them get white boy wasted and fucking hammered and dropping bikes just as much as black white. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. They hype that Black Bike Week is such a sinful thing. No, y'all just don't like the fact that all these beautiful black women and all these women are out there with their ass cheeks out on the back of some fucking bikes, having a good time, having a twerk fest and enjoying themselves the same way that the white culture does a week prior. When they're doing all their rock and roll music, they're getting white boy wasted, getting fucking flashing titties all over the place. And like,
isn't that cultural appropriation though?
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
No, that is. I'm telling you, nobody gives a fuck about White Bike Week. Because guess what? The white boys, they go back. Because Black Bike Week is way more fun.
I hear it's pretty lit.
Pretty fucking lit.
That's what I'm hearing.
And I'm telling you, as a person that lived down there and experienced 3 of those back to back to back, I went to both of them, stayed, both weekends gone. White Bike Week is trash. So we see what the agenda is. Nah, they have it better.
Yeah. So funny, dude.
So it's just like, I don't know what y'all are doing down south. Y'all are trash for this. And now that y'all are using COVID-19 as your fucking excuses to now cancel.
That's rich.
You're canceling black people using COVID is trash. Like, and I hope what happens is I hope that Black Bike Week says, all right, cool, we're going to go take over white black. I hope so. I hope that's what happens. I hope. And like, yeah,
that could be fun.
So, and I remember like a lot of the complaints were the music's so loud, they're partying too late, they come in like it's the same thing. All of our bikes sound the same.
It's the music is different.
It's the music. They feel offended because they don't have the right asses, or they had to pay for their asses, and they don't know how to twerk the right way. And you know what I mean? Their girls, probably their daughters and granddaughters, probably get hit on, and the granddaughters like it and shit like that. Like so. But meanwhile, we don't have racism and all that, and microaggressions and all that going on, which neither here nor there. But yeah. So speaking of like COVID, since we're kind of like on the COVID train. I did want to say, like, I'm so sick of COVID in the marketing, right? And when I say that, and everybody knows that, like, I'm not the biggest, like, fan of the vaccine right now. But at the same time, like, I understand that it can be helpful at some point, right? But I don't like the fact that the industry or, like, the medical field or the government, they are starting to really, like, dig into, like, this marketing campaign for the Black community. So, like, every time everywhere I look now, social media, on the news or whatever, some new Black celebrity has talked to Dr. Fauci, or some new Black celebrity, or, some new Black doctor is telling you how much, so important this is, right? Get the vaccine. Then I look at it, I'm like, they're not doing this for everybody else. They're not saying, hey, white guys, white families, go do this. They're not getting Taylor Swift and all these other fucking celebrities to say, get your, where are these country singers? Where are these pop stars? Where, like, where are these? No, you're going straight for the Black community. So then that leads me to believe, why? Why do you just keep pushing an agenda? Like, at this point, everybody's known that these vaccines are here. We've known for a year, like what the things are. Most people have fucking caught this shit in some way, shape, or form, right? So it's just like, why do you feel the need to push this agenda? And you wonder why we're like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, why is it always that when the government needs something, they have to come to the Black community? Like, stop. Like, it's just honestly sickening, right? So, like, Dapper Dan, big into the fashion industry, right? Big. He made Gucci popular in the Black community. Like, he flipped Gucci, like he would get Gucci designs, put his own spin on them, and then, give them to the celebrities and shit like that. He's the true style essence of Gucci, right? But of course, Gucci and him beef because Gucci wasn't liking the fact that he was making their product fucking hot. And then, right? So years, not until recently has the fashion industry shunned pretty much Dapper Dan because of his Black ingenuity, just beast in Gucci, right? But now Vogue decides to highlight him as, we're talking to Dapper Dan about fashion and what? COVID vaccines.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Really?
We have Black singers like R&B singer Monica does Mo Talk with Dr. Fauci now. Like, we got to get these, we got to get, it's sickening, right? Carlos Watson weighs in with Dr. Fauci. Why should you trust the vaccine? Like, I get it. You want us to take the vaccine, but give the same effort into these other communities that you are for the Black community.
What's the numbers on people who are by race who are interested in the vaccine?
Let's see.
And I guess I'm expecting to see that the number of white people is high, and Hispanics and Asians is probably pretty normal, and maybe Black people are like, we're not doing it. We're not getting the vaccine. Is that where we're at?
Here we go. I don't know. Let's see it. Black people as share of COVID-19 vaccinated cases, deaths, and total population March 15 total. So let's go with Connecticut because we're here. Percent of vaccinations, 5%. Percent of cases, 11%. Percent of deaths, 12% in the Black community.
Jesus Christ.
District of DC, holy shit. 31% vaccinated of African Americans. 49% cases, 76% of deaths. Holy shit. 76% of their cases.
Yeah,
DC
dude, see, that's the problem is that you guys are dying from this shit at a ridiculous rate over other people. And I think that's why they're really, and I understand it feels a little patronizing, but I think it's those numbers. And listen, here's part of the reason is, I don't want to say most. I'm going to say Black people living in the city in more packed quarters is more common than I think how most white people live, or Asians or Hispanics. And because of that, you have a higher spread rate. You also have, obviously, a lot of misinformation. You have, I would assume, probably, again, in the inner city, I don't know what the healthcare situation's like. I'm sure it's not great. I'm sure the number of people in the inner city who are going to a yearly doctor visit like you're supposed to probably low.
Yeah. Probably so, yeah.
You're right. I mean, I think we're talking about factual information here. I don't want to make assumptions or stereotypes, but you see those numbers, dude. That is a disturbingly high number percentage-wise. If you're 3% of the population and you're 13% of the deaths in Connecticut, that's a big number.
That is. And then as I look, like Alabama, a lot of these are so like DC heavy. I mean, they're dubbed the chocolate city.
Yeah, dude, DC is the worst.
Georgia.
I mean, DC, that's bad. Look at, I mean, the deaths. What is it? 76% of deaths in DC are Black people, and 31% of them, 31% of the Black population has been vaccinated, and about 70. So about three and four people.
So let's see the white.
That's bad.
But now you look at the white numbers.
Yeah, but look at the vaccination numbers. They're like much higher.
But the percents of deaths, so like, percent of cases, percent of deaths. Like, if anything, you need to, with this data right here, these bars are maxed out just about with white people.
Correct.
So why are you not pushing, but they're getting vaccinated?
Because of this, because they're getting vaccinated. Because this number here is actually lower. The amount of so like, right, it seems like white people get COVID and they live more often than they don't. Whereas if you're Black and you get it, you seem like you're pretty fucked from these numbers.
Let's see Hispanic. So we go to Hispanic.
But again, it's
even Hispanic rate.
It's right. Listen, it has nothing to do with your race.
Gotcha.
This is not, it's not because you're Black. It's because you're poor and you live in the inner city.
And yes,
we're not talking about Black people who live in the suburbs or wealthy Black. We're talking about a very specific group,
and it shows
that is by and large Black. It lives in the inner city, and they're exposed. They don't have good health care, and they're dying at a really high rate.
And you look at Alabama's one. So when we look at these places, right? Alabama, DC, Louisiana. I think I saw Mississippi up here. So, North Carolina. So these southern, and now that I see that, I can understand that. That makes a little, even with Georgia, right? These are, not to say lower incomes, but lower cost of living areas.
Yeah,
a lot more country people, probably not seeing doctors. You know what I mean? So I get it. I guess
think it makes sense. Even more shocking, I read recently that in Florida, Governor Christ, who was before the current asshole, whatever, the DeSantis. Dude, this guy made it virtually impossible for you to get unemployment if you got fired. The policies that there's like 17 states where, and they're all Republican states, of course, where if you're on unemployment, it's your fucking job to look for a job. They do everything they can to throw your ass off benefits.
Yeah.
There are 21 Republican attorney generals that are suing the United States to have the Affordable Care Act overturned. Like, there's literally a party that is going out of its way to take away protections from specifically Black people. That's a problem. And it sucks that it has to be that they have to go out of their way. And I could see where it's patronizing. But again, I think if you're looking at these numbers, again, and you're asking yourself, well, if there was a specific category of white person who was at a high risk and not being vaccinated, I don't know. Let's just, for fucking fun's sake, let's pretend it's like hillbilly Americans, right? And they're like, hey, Toby Keith, we need you to do a series of ads to get these like toothless white fucking trailer trash fuck faces from, I don't know, Alabama.
Yeah,
we'll
go
there,
Alabama, yeah.
right? I would be like, you watch it. I could see where I'd be like, is this a fucking joke?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't apply to you because you don't live in that situation. So again, where it seems to you like it's patronizing, to those people that live in the inner city, they're watching that shit and they're like, oh, this shit's real? I should get tested, huh? They do tests. I didn't know that. You're not getting the information. You don't have the right access to get yourself taken care of. And you live in close proximity to other people, which is a recipe for disaster when it comes to this shit.
True. Very true. Yeah, like you said.
Did I just change your mind about something?
I think you did. Maybe you've enlightened me a little bit.
I like that.
You definitely enlightened me, but I just, like you said, I guess I just feel like I hate the pandering.
I get the pandering, especially when you're pandering to black people.
Exactly.
Because it seems like we're constantly doing that.
And stop going to the celebrities.
Yes.
Like, stick it to like the professionals. I don't give a fuck if Cardi B says, I'm getting a vaccine. I don't care if Dapper Dan gets a vaccine. I don't care if Obama and Michelle get a vaccine. It's a personal decision. And it kind of, it's funny because I'm like, damn, is this how it feels to kind of be conservative? Like, you're like, no, I just don't want to.
I'm not doing it because you're making me do it. I'll do it when I want to.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to be made to do it. Just like now, how they're saying you got to have your vaccine. You might have to have a vaccinate, or it's looking likely that you're going to have a vaccination.
Look at us,
passport.
Frank of all people, but only because he actually lives in Florida. Yeah, you're right. Charlie Crist was governor from 7 to 11. Tim Scott was governor from 11 to 19. That's who I meant. He was the one. He's now the senator, right? Scott and this asshole now, DeSantis is the governor. Yeah. I think Charlie Crist was actually a pretty good governor, so I apologize for impugning that man's integrity. He was actually a pretty decent dude.
What, a Floridian having integrity?
And he was a Republican. Am I right?
What?
Tell me too if I'm right.
Florida Republican having integrity?
He was a good dude. Yeah. I think his family was. I think his dad or somebody too, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Rick Scott. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. See, look at that.
But yeah, just
thanks for correcting me, Frank. I'm sure you feel like a big, fucking, strong, tough, smart guy now.
That's a win for Speaking of Real. You guys can watch him every Friday.
No, I appreciate that, Frank. Frank knows how I feel about the facts. And, yeah, I did. I definitely had that wrong.
Well,
I knew it was a white guy. That I was sure of.
Good guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah, speaking of white guys, and, what's up with you white guys and, like, shooting up?
I would never.
What's like?
So, dude, here I am again, right? Here I am again.
Here we are.
As a fucking, like, white guy in America. I see this shit now, and now every time I see a fucking Asian, I feel like I gotta be like, we're good. We're good. Don't feel weird. Like, I don't, I just want my sushi. Like, I'm in and I'm out. I'm not. For the fucking life of me, dude, like, I can't. Here's the other thing, right? I've never been robbed. Okay. I've never been robbed. I've never in my life been robbed. Don't anybody try it. But I've never been robbed, and I God. Like if say like I got jumped by a bunch of black dudes. I hear that happens, and I hear they're really good at it. I'm not gonna like, as revenge, I'm like, if I find any other black dudes, I'm gonna like, wait a minute, dude. I think that the 5 individuals who happen to all be black all have names and identities. If you're such a fucking tough guy,
go find them.
Go get those fucking dudes.
Go find them.
That's who your beef is with. Your beef is not with the entire race.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing. Like, everybody's like, well, it's not a hate thing. It's not this. And for anybody that doesn't know what we're speaking of Robert Aaron Long. I'm going to speak this terrorist name. This terrorist, who I would presume to be a racist. But, that's up for debate because, we're coddling and, he was a sex addict, but a Christian Bible carrier.
I think what did the police chief say? Mr. Long had a bad day.
Had a bad day. Title of the episode. Had a bad day.
Dude just fucking annihilated a bunch of Asians because, bad day.
And not just one.
Yeah.
Three different establishments because he was sexually frustrated. I know when I get sexually frustrated or I'm to the point, I know that for me, for example, and I've heard this and I've used it in life. Whenever you're in a tough bind or you're got to make a tough decision, go rub one out.
Yeah,
see how you feel.
I mean,
see how you feel. And I promise you, your whole big decision, big purchase, rub one out.
He unloaded his gun. He should have unloaded
himself.
There you go.
To me, if he was going to these places, and I saw the video from the first spot, he was there for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So it would seem like you went to a massage parlor, you probably unloaded yourself. Why?
Shame.
But
shame.
So shame.
And they're enabling him and his I don't know.
So because you feel shame because you indulge in something that you chose to do.
Rob, again, the party of personal responsibility. It's always somebody fucking else's fault.
And it's somebody else's fault but his. And because and the fact that they're pushing this narrative of the Christian, he toted his Bible around. He grew up in, here we go. Here go the facts, right? On March 16, 2001, a series of mass shootings occurred at 3 spas or massage parlors in the metropolitan area of Atlanta, Georgia, United States, right? 8 people were killed. 6 of them were Asian women. 1 person was wounded. Not suspect. He's not a suspect. He did that fucking shit. And that's another thing. They keep allegedly and suspect. No, he's a fucking murderer. He admitted that shit. He's not a suspect. We know he fucking did it. Call him for what he is.
Right.
He's a fucking terrorist and he's a fucking murderer, right? So this young, and this is how they're portraying him. Young boy grew up in Canton, Georgia, graduated in 2017 from Sequoia High School. He was a Christian student. He was a firm believer and advocate and a member of the Christian Student Club and an avid Bible carrier. These are all quotes. Avid Bible carrier. He was a gamer, hunter, and traveled with his church youth group. And this is the image that they're portraying, right?
Yeah.
But would have been a black dude. They would have found the first picture of him in the do-rag, the first picture of him throwing up a hand sign, first picture of him maybe holding his cousin's fucking gun, and he would have been a thug, he would have been a gangster, he would have been a menace to society and everything else but a child of God. But a child of God. They're not going to find the church pictures of him.
No.
Going to Bible study or going to his, first Christian whatever thing, or going to Easter Sunday with his family or holding his little, you know what I mean? They're not going to do that. They're going to, or they're going to literally demean this guy until they can't drag him on the mud anymore. And then they're going to find another way and pretty much be like, yeah, let's lynch this guy. Right. But here we go. Another white fucking terrorist. And I can't even say another because there's another. Colorado, that happened today.
Yeah, that's right.
In a supermarket grocery store. So it's just like when, like the quotes have said before, we don't want you killing people the way you kill us. We just want you not to kill us the same way you don't kill these people.
Yeah.
The shooter, the mass shooter in South Carolina, Dylan Roof, didn't they feed him? I'm pretty sure that they fed him.
He got Burger King.
Took him to Burger King, asked him, let him have it his way, and then took him to jail. I know damn well when I got put in a cop car. Look, well, you know what? That's probably the only time I've ever seen 3 black kids get out of a police car. But it's just like the other time that I was put in the police car, they was not trying to take me to fucking Burger King, and that was for a verbal altercation.
I was in the back of a police car once in a snowstorm.
Did they turn the heat on for you?
No, it was the heat cranking. The dude started pulling donuts in the parking lot.
Look at that white privilege.
And I tell you what, I swear to God that happened, and I could text a dude right now to prove it to you.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe
Dude
it.
started pulling. We were like looking at each other like, is this guy for fucking real? What are we, like, boys?
Yo. It's sick, right? And then somebody sent me an article, and I just read the headline, and I didn't even feel like reading it because it would have just sent me to a whole nother fucking dimension, right? So apparently there was this guy who sexually assaulted and raped this young black girl, and now I'm gonna pull it up so you don't think I'm fucking bullshitting. Now he's being let off because he's mentally incapable of standing trial. But I shit you not. I shit you not. So here we go. No, that's not it. Here we go. I'm gonna find this out.
Black man freed after 44 years in jail for rape he didn't commit. Wow, that's hilarious. Meanwhile, it's like, hey, Brock Turner's like, hey, fuck everybody. Even if you don't find the story you're talking about, I think you just proved your point with those two headlines that literally couldn't have been any different. Black man freed after 44 years for rape he did not commit. Brock Turner won a meet last weekend at Stanford.
Here we go. Louisville man accused of raping 18-year-old will have case dismissed, won't stand trial. As this pulls up.
Dude, that guy looks like one of the most evil fucking people in the world.
Now, as they feared along, some who have lived in the neighborhood with their incident worry that Madden could also fall through a gap in the system, avoid mental health treatment. So pretty much they're saying
he'll be back on the street.
Yep. So last month, a psychiatrist from the Kentucky Correctional Psychiatric Center in LaGrange testified that Madden is mentally competent to stand trial. But then they argued, and it says he has.
He's got a really low IQ.
Really low IQ, and he's been murdered. Oh, has had several cases dismissed due to incompetency before. Wow, look at that precedent. So
right, you
can
be like a really fucking stupid fucking white person and do a lot of bad things, and they will send you home.
That's crazy. So,
Rob. I mean, they're not extending that to the black dudes. There's not a black guy in prison. They're like, this guy's a little fucking loony. We should send him home. Never. Come on.
So, and then kind of before I end this point, I just wanted to bring out a couple comments of this, like people are saying, right? So you have people that are saying, like, what about those kids in south side of Chicago where they're being killed every day? And this is in response to people being like, stop Asian hate.
Right.
And then another thing that
I guess my question for white people is what do you give a fuck about gangsters on the fucking south side of Chicago? Because all of those most of those shootings, I should say, occasionally there's innocent bystanders that get hit. It's all gang violence. It's all fucking hits and revenge hits. Yep. That's all they're doing. And here's the real fucking kicker, you dummies. Guess where the fucking guns all file in from? Indiana, Republican state where any motherfucker can get a gun. They're buying them in Indiana, and they bring them right over to Chicago.
And we're not even going to talk about how the government placed cases of guns in Chicago back in the 90s or 80s for the street gang. I'm not even going to get into that.
But again, you have to, because I'm telling you, anybody who doesn't know this shit, anybody who hasn't done their research or doesn't know that, like, fucking crack, the CIA literally, like, dumped crack on the black community just to see what would happen. They wanted to, like, run tests on it and see what would happen.
And
boy,
when we maximize that shit,
they were like, damn,
put these motherfuckers in jail.
Shit, yeah, well, there you go. Round them up.
You get more time for hard rock than actual soft substance. That comes from
Lyndon Johnson, Democrat, had the war on poverty with the idea that they were gonna get people out of the ghetto, right? For lack of a better term. I know people hate that word now, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yep.
That got replaced in the 70s by Richard Nixon's war on crime. See, no longer are we worried about the people. Now we're going to focus on, well, fuck them. They're breaking the law. So then in the early 80s, liberals were like,
hold up.
This war on crime seems a lot like you're going after black people.
But
so Ronald Reagan called it the war on drugs, which was basically the war on crime under a different name, but also just throwing black people in jail for drugs.
Yep.
And that's all it was.
And that's
same shit.
And that was the point that I was getting to, that the war on drugs turned the same substance, but just in a different form,
right,
to a more way crazier jail sentence. So like, I can get caught with a gram of rock, and you got caught with a gram of powder. Guess who's doing more time?
Now, how did they determine which would get a more severe penalty?
Well,
was it when they realized where the demographic was, where those things were happening? Because what's the difference between powder and rock?
Nothing.
The same shit.
Same fucking shit.
Made from the same stuff.
Same stuff. I mean, you put some
powder
in the other one. Not that I know. Allegedly,
it's like having a potato or a twice baked potato. Exactly. The same fucking. It's a potato.
It's a potato.
Yeah.
You have a couple of ingredients. You might put some salt, some sour cream. Yeah. But it's the same fucking thing.
Same fucking thing. It's a potato.
So, and outside of that, if you agree with like and that's the key point, right? Ignorance breeds ignorance, right? So the ignorance of, and everybody's like, this can't be a racial thing. No, it can be, because guess what? Somebody felt that angry at a certain establishment or a certain group of people to actually like breed that. And then of course, the sheriff, the captain, the sheriff of, the captain of the sheriff department, right? He actually he had a bad day, he had a bad day, right? He's actually known for having hatred towards the Asian community, because it was proven in his Facebook post that was promoting T-shirts of the China virus and all, that kind of stuff, and calling it that. So like, when you have people that breed that ignorance and keep going with that narrative, that's what you get, right? And people are like, well, what about the Spanish flu? Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't around in 1917. That was ignorant back then too. I don't give a damn how you name it. There's something else. So if you continue with that,
especially because it didn't come from Spain.
Exactly. So it's that ignorance that keeps breeding, and you guys keep going with it. That spews this hatred, that builds this hatred. It's the same ignorance that old Trumpito kept breeding, and then now you have Charlottesville. Now you have all these situations, right? So if you guys keep pushing the same ignorant narrative, it's just gonna breed that, right? So like, stop, cut the fucking shit, cut it. Like, I don't give a, like, how hard is it to simply say, yo, that's fucked up. That's not right. Because guess what? If they started saying if America had a situation where a virus leaked or something, and they started calling it the American virus, y'all Americans would be pretty fucking pissed. Because guess what? And outside of that, it wouldn't even just fall on white people. American virus will fall on everybody that's fucking America. But unfortunately, white people just consider America just to be white.
The war on drugs and the crackdown on Colombian cartels were not mutually exclusive.
Can we also not
forget the worst part of that?
The government and the cartel had that relationship. They did. That was the whole purpose of it. They needed to supply and demand weapons and firearms and all these other illegal activities, so they pawned it off on the black community. Let's not act like the U.S. government and the U.S. cartel weren't working together. Let's not act like the United States government wasn't getting their weed from the cartel before all this prohibition shit happened. And we started making, that's what it boiled down to. Black people started making hand over fist, even though they were harming their own community, putting this product out there, they were making hand over fist. And the government could not see it anymore. Look at Snowfall. Anybody, I mentioned this show before. If you don't believe me, watch Snowfall. Really, really, really based off Ricky, the real Rick Ross, Ricky Freeway Ross, right? Freeway Ross. So, like, I'm just sick of it. It's always good for them until it's not. You know what I mean? Until it's not. You know what I mean? It's good for them, but not good for anybody else. So, like, miss me with the bullshit. If you're still pushing this China virus narrative and doing all that, you're racist. You're racist. You're ignorant. You're a bigot, and like, you're stupid, honestly, because all of you are just considering that every person from the continent of Asia, which includes Russia, if I'm not mistaken, right? So like, yes, Russians are Asian, if you right. So like, y'all are idiots just to think that they look a certain type of way, right? So yeah, I hate you people. When I say you people, those you kind of people, I hate you.
Christopher Columbus, in somewhere after 1492, reported back to the rest of the world that he had found Indians in North America because he thought he was in India. And here we are 640 years later, and we still call those fucking people Indians. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Can't even give them the respect.
They're not from India. That's
Native
what Indians
American.
are. Oh my God!
And not even that. Call them by their fucking tribe. They're Mohegans. They're Pequots, and I'm just using those names because that's where I know from.
But you're right. It just goes to show how easily. Again, dude, this is historical. Like, in history, we've been referring to Native Americans as Indians for like 600 years.
Not even in.
Even though we knew they weren't.
That ignorance, once again, continued.
And even though we still do, we still fucking call them that. Why?
Just like I'm still considered black, and I'm fucking American, and I'm not even black. I'm brown. I'm chocolate. Like, I'm not ignorant. Well, I can be ignorant, but I ain't no fucking hard ER. Unless you push me that way. I always tell people that was one of my things. You call me a nigger, I'm gonna sit there and say, "Oh, you want to see one? I'll show you one." That's not me, but I'll show you one. It's in there. I'll show you one. So, but yeah,
you can tap in. That's good.
Definitely. Yeah, we can talk about America Fumbles real quick, and then we're out. This is a 3 hour. This is good. You know, it hasn't felt like 3 hours.
Well, I was just gonna say that. I mean, we could crush these 3 hours like nobody's business.
And I appreciate everybody that's still.
I was gonna say too, yeah. God bless all the people that are still hanging.
Love you guys.
Yeah, dude, this is good.
I guess we'll end it on a bang, right? Or on a, I don't know if we want to say bang, but on a good flick, or I don't know. But good old Biden falls.
Ah, Jesus Christ!
And not only did Biden fall, but America fell, right? And this is a two-parter. We'll try and like blend it all again and make it nice and quick for y'all. But of course, we've all seen the videos and the pictures of good old 79-year-old president tripping not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah, but not for nothing. The motherfucker eventually got up and then ran up the fucking ring. He was like, "Yeah,
finished
bitch."
strong, and that's the thing. That's why I like Biden over Trump, because why? Trumpito would have fell and then blamed it on like liberals, and like the liberals made the stairs too high for Air Force One, and like the wind was blowing, his toupee almost fell off, and then he would have like blamed it on somebody, right?
Yeah.
Biden took it 3 times and finished strong and said, "You know what? I'm here."
Yeah.
And and even though it was funny, it was comical. I was like, the old man is showing. I'm sure Kamala was probably like,
Jesus Christ.
But, like I said, I don't think he's going to make the full term. I'm not saying that he's going to pass away, but I think that health age is going to get to him. But anyways, it was good to see that he's still human and he has a good sense of humor. And that was one of the things that like brought me back to like, I might not agree with half of the things that Biden's for.
Yeah.
But him as a normal human being, I can go to sleep and not worry about what the fuck is going on. Don't have to look at Twitter to see what rant is going on. He's making a solid effort.
Yes.
Like I can knock him for, not getting certain things done and everything else like that, but he's giving it a try with the hand that he was fucking dealt with. You know what I mean? It might not be he might not be playing the hand that the way I would want to see him play it,
right.
But he's giving it a fucking stab, and at least he can sit there and say, even if he feels like he's not making the best decision, he goes, "This might not seem right, but I'm trying. Work with me. I'm open for ideas. Let's try and figure this out as a country."
Right.
Instead of just saying, "Nope, this is my way. Y'all are fucking stupid. This is da 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 da." You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Once again, I might not agree with it, but what I was glad to see, and here we go. I'm gonna piss some people off, especially the super conservative, MAGA people. Here we go. I was glad to see fucking America getting verbally punched in the fucking mouth the other night by fucking China. Did you see the meeting in Alaska? No,
I don't know this.
Oh man, right?
Got me.
So bad. Secretary of State Blinken and China's Director of the Central Commission for Foreign Affairs, Yang Jiechi. Excuse me if I fucked up his name, right? But they had their first kind of like meeting, right? Their first international meeting or whatever, however you want to, or what do they call them? Not convention. Maybe
summit.
Summit. They had like their first
first official summit.
Yep, and in Anchorage, right? And after they agreed to like pretty much a 2-minute intro, just kind of to warm things up. You know, we started first. Secretary of State Blinken, you know, he tried it with the covering bullshit and nice, you know, big words and stuff like that. But China's response from the director of Central Commission was hilarious, right? So they were pretty much saying Secretary of State started and was like, hey, it would be nice for us to keep, you know, good relations, but, you know, there's some things that we need to be fixed. And in the beginning of the 2 minutes for China, pretty much, he was like, hey, America, stop throwing fucking stones if you live in a glass house. And what do I mean by that? He goes, China. Here we go. China's Director of Central Commission for Foreign Affairs went on a 20-minute tear on the United States government about the superiority of Chinese-style democracy and America's sins. The latter.
Damn, dude. I don't know how I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, the latter included reference to Black Lives Matter, human rights problems, and that the U.S. Has exercised long-arm jurisdiction and suppression and overstretched the national security through the use of force or financial hegemony or whatever. So I was like, holy shit. First of all, and he led with that. Like, fuck you talking about. Don't come over here trying to tell us how to police some shit up and run our country when you don't even have a threshold or a hold for centuries on your problem.
China calling you out for human right abuses is, I mean, any other country in the world could do it, and you're like, they do it, and you're like, wow, that's fucking Jesus.
And then so Mr. Yang also added, he goes, so we believe that it is more important for the United States to change its own image and to stop advancing its own democracy in the rest of the world. Many people within the United States actually have little confidence in the democracy of the United States. As we've noted, so I said, holy shit. The Chinese, the Chinese pretty much likes to echo the woke U.S. media critique of America. Like, at that point, I said, this is going to be an amazing summit. And then he also followed that pretty much and was like, now that we've gotten that out the way, let's talk business because we love making money with you guys.
Killer.
So, with all that being said, it felt good to finally see somebody check them. And then it made me, because I started looking, right? I really started to look, right? And started to think about it. Do we really think that America can sustain if Russia, Iran, China, and maybe North Korea say, we're sick of the bully? America's been the bully for decades. What happens to the bully when people start to sit there and say, you know what? Let's not feed into that bully. Let's not keep, building this bully up. Let's deflate this bully.
For the bully.
It does not end.
Yeah.
It does not. And guess what happens with the bully? Even though the bully has some people that like to laugh and shit like that. So we'll say like Germany, we'll say British, we'll say all these allies. If you have a stronger threshold, those allies are gonna be like, just like with a bully. They don't start hyping that. They don't continuously hype that bully up, especially when there's a bigger force that's going around. So right, you think about it, right? And I learned about this. So how does like a shark or like a whale get eaten by smaller fish?
Group attack.
Exact, group attack.
Yeah, I see what you're doing there.
So now America has been fucked up for so long, especially these past 4 years. That's all these countries know. They don't give a damn. Especially, you know what I mean? Even though China really felt that they had a pushover with Obama and Biden previously, So now coming into this mentality, like, yeah, we already know how this dude rocks. Let's go ahead and do whatever. They've already, and that's the thing. A lot of people are thinking of like physical warfare. That's the reason why America's so fucked up. We're still so focused on being the strong, biggest, and baddest. They're like, no, that's not what the war is anymore. The war is in tech.
Yeah.
We're just gonna hack the fuck out of y'all.
Right.
We're gonna steal all your information.
We're greatly
gonna fuck
losing
up your
that
banks.
battle. Yeah.
Oh, super. So at this point, what are we gonna do? Keep puffing and puffing our fists? Guess what? Everybody has war missiles. Everybody has a fucking army. And guess what? Eventually, people are gonna run out, and none of us know what somebody else has. And I'm sorry if we think that we're just still the only badasses in this fucking country. We're not the smartest people in this fucking country.
Right.
We're not the most like. I'm
not
sorry,
for nothing.
I'm more scared of a Croatian than a fucking American.
Not for nothing. You only have to land one bomb.
Exactly. You only have to land. Look at what 9/11 did to us.
Right. Yeah, it's a fucking dead on.
Everybody was like, "Oh, we're the strongest country." No, actually, we were fucking dumb as hell. We depleted a lot of our funds going into a war that we couldn't afford. We totally lowered our security posture, and everybody's like, "Nobody's going to attack American forces." How many people fucking come to America a day? Known and unknown.
Yeah.
Nobody knew the fucking bombers were going to do that shit.
Don't forget, Vladimir Putin's been paying bounties on American soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq the last 5 or 6 years.
So you think that these other countries aren't waiting for this vulnerability point? And they've been testing these points. We're not going to hit you over the head with fucking, we're not going to send people over there and waste lives. No, we're going to get into your bank accounts. We're going to go ahead and get into all your security shit. We're going to get into all these companies' information. We're going to get into your government information. And we're going to literally bury you from the inside. So guess what? Don't be surprised 5 years from now when you go to check your fucking Chase bank account and that shit says zero. Because why? They hacked into Chase. And now nobody has any fucking money. What are you about to do? Everything's going digital now. Like you think that these countries aren't thinking of bigger and better ways? Russia attacks us every day. China attacks us every day, and they successfully go through with ease. Americans are, first and foremost, Americans are so dumb, right? And I say that because people get scammed every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like we will literally sit there and say, "Don't click this hyperlink. Don't open anything that." And they're like, "Oh,
this one
free $500 Amazon gift card. I got it.
I already opened it and already shared it with all my friends."
Exactly. Like we will literally see a person go on Facebook and be like, "Hey, don't open that email. I got hacked." I'm like, "Oh, this message," and then wondering why you're getting fucking porn 911 posted on your profile every fucking day. Americans are fucking dumb. Our social securities are out everywhere.
Yeah.
All of our personal information. I can't say a product without my phone hearing me when it's off and showing me something. So you think these other countries aren't already in?
The technology is totally there. So yeah.
So with that being said, I take that as China being like, all right, fuck with us if you want to. We can keep this a nice, peaceful business relationship, or you can keep trying to fucking act like your shit don't stink over here, and we'll fuck you up. And look at the look at the manufacturing. Look at all the production. Look at all China fucking runs this shit.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. Look, there's like 1 billion people in China, and a lot of those people are considered kind of like disposable. There's a lot of people that are basically slaves in China, or at least held against their will, particularly Muslims. It's a pretty large Muslim population.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they more or less have them in concentration camps, but China keeps denying that that's true. But everybody in the region's like, yeah, that's what's happening. Forced labor camps. I mean, you would think that all this shit had been eradicated in like the 40s.
Yeah,
it fucking not. Like, still no. There's people are still doing that bullshit. It's fucked up.
I mean, like
fucked up.
And it's crazy. Like in our eyes, it is fucked up.
It is.
But at the same time, I've never lived in China. I've never been to China. So like I can't sit there and say that I've had personal conversations with somebody from China, or even from Asia in that aspect. I mean, I've been to Asia. I've been to Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. You know what I mean? But It's just like,
yep.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. We might not like it over here, but they might love it. They obviously the riots and stuff. I don't know everything about the political shit that's going on in China, but some people seem to like it. Some people seem to hate it. Same way over here, right? When do we mind our own fucking business?
Yeah,
like
that's
when
the problem. That's the problem. We don't mind our business, and we don't like it when other countries mind our business.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we don't mind our business, but we always got our necks in everybody else's. So I'm glad fucking China fucking hit them with a nice quick jab. Like, hey, get your shit right.
Yeah.
Get your shit right. And what was even better about it, if you look at it, they all look so nervous on the American side. They look fucking like.
I wonder if somebody knew what he was saying, like in real time. If there was
they had
an interpreter that was like, shit. You know the Osama bin Laden story?
How
in 1998, this reporter, he was a former FBI agent. He became a reporter. His name was John Miller. He worked for ABC News. And this is early 98. He scored an interview with Osama bin Laden. And none of you knew who Osama bin Laden was at the time. Only people who were super into that shit, like me, and the FBI knew about who. I kid you not. Like, a friend of mine died in a bombing in 95, which is the only reason I'm like super. It was always very, like on 9/11, I knew bin Laden before they were like Osama bin. Like I was like, yeah, no shit. Yeah. Because so this guy, John Miller, secured an interview with bin Laden in Afghanistan. And he showed up with a translator and a camera guy, and they were like, he's got to go.
Is that the interview of him like sitting down and like they're doing all that talking with him?
In a tent.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So they wouldn't let him bring a translator in. And so John Miller was like, well, how do I ask follow-ups? And they were like, you don't. Here's the questions. This is your list. You can ask these questions. There would be no follow-ups. And it wouldn't matter because he didn't speak Arabic. So so there's John Miller, and he's doing the interview, and he's asking the questions, and they're being translated to bin Laden, and bin Laden's speaking back in Arabic. And the whole time, John Miller's, doing your normally reporting. Yep. And so the interview ends. Him and the camera guy get dropped off. They meet up with the translator, and they're driving back to the hotel. And John Miller says to the translator, he's like, what is he saying here? Like, I got to hear this shit. And the translator's like, he's saying, death to America, the blood of your children will spill on the streets for the rest of your lives until there are no Americans left. And John Miller was like, wait, and what am I doing? And he's like, you're like this.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That's
so
hilarious.
as Osama bin Laden was threatening jihad on America, John Miller was nodding along. Sounds good. Thanks for the interview.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but isn't that nuts?
The interpreter or the linguist that was there, even like when she was reading it, she was just like, I'm reading it? Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about this. There's a new TV show, The United States of Al. It's the story of an Afghani translator who is living with one of the soldiers from his platoon in America now. And he's learning. Michael Chiklis is the guy's father, the soldier's father. Yep. It looks hilarious. They hired 4 of the 5 main characters are Afghani.
Okay.
All 5 of the characters are supposed to be Afghani. And there's actually outrage. Like, I think the dude that produced it, I think he's like Pakistani or Turkish. And people are like, there's a lot of great Afghan actors. Why did you? And they're like, dude, we hired Afghan writers. Yeah. We've got Afghan actors. The lead needed to be really good. We brought in Afghani leads. Yeah. Nobody killed it until they gave it to this fucking other guy who's also Middle Eastern. Yeah. And people are literally pissed about it. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Just don't watch the fucking show if it offends you that much. That guy's not really an Afghan. He can't, act like he's one. It's called acting.
So this
like
is
if fucking
same...
Scarlett Johansson wants to play a fucking Asian, and some jerk off fucking pedo in fucking Hollywood wants to pay her $20 million to be an Asian, why do you give a shit? Why does that bother you? Just don't fucking go see the movie.
Yeah.
I fucking don't like Woody Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Woody Allen's a rapist.
Yes.
Every piece of evidence and everything I've ever seen and every defense I've ever heard out of his fucking mouth, I go, that guy's a fucking rapist. No doubt about it.
What if he lives in Rhode Island?
It could be.
We haven't seen him in a while.
He groomed his wife when she was his adopted stepdaughter, right? Whatever the fuck that was. I don't watch Woody Allen movies. I don't give a fuck how good you think they are. People are like, oh, you ever fuck off, Woody Allen. Yeah. Fuck you, dude. No, I've never watched one single Woody Allen movie. Not one. I won't fucking do it. I won't do it. Also, I've seen the previews. All his movies look fucking dumb. I'm just not into that shit. They all look, fucking stupid.
I never thought he was that funny anyways.
I think he sucks. I think he's, I'm Woody Allen. Fuck off, you fucking creepy fuck.
Oh, man.
Again, dude, holding these motherfucking people up like on a pedestal. What? Holy fuck, dude. Get the, no.
I even, like, it's funny that you say that, because even, like, in the black community, right, Judas and the Black Messiah, right? Daniel, whatever his name is, the actor, right? He's British, and he was the same one that played in Get Out and all that other shit, right?
Yeah, he's good.
And Black Americans are like, whoa, he's not black, he's British. Oh, you fucking!
He's black.
He's black.
He's from Britain.
The Aretha Franklin movie now is I saw like something on E, and she has a British accent, and then of course here comes Black Twitter and everybody else. She's not black. She's British. Why is she playing Aretha Franklin? Like, give it up. Give it. And I get it. Like, you know, with certain things you want to have that kind of like resemblance, right?
Yeah.
But the person's black. They all have a good ass American accent. Fuck doesn't matter. The image, the important part is seeing you, especially for us, seeing our kind in certain positions. I don't give a fuck if they're fucking like, would you say that if it was a fucking person from Nigeria?
No.
And acting? No, they're like, oh, they're African. Like, who gives a fuck?
He's not black. He's from Nigeria.
I hate that shit.
Dumb motherfucker.
That shit's so trash. Like, I fucking hate it.
Dude, people are... Again, I think we've covered this enough. How stupid people are. We have
to do this every week.
Dude,
that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Every week we have to talk about dumb. It's crazy. I don't know.
He's not black. He's British.
I'm not human. I'm white American.
They don't have black people in England, do they? What? Is that? I mean, like, does that surprise people?
It does.
This was funny.
I think it does.
And
I promise you, we'll get out of here.
Kamaru Usman, the fighter.
Yep.
Is Nigerian.
Yep.
Raised in Texas. Moved to Texas when he was like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Majority of his life in America.
He's an American. And he's fighting Colby Covington. And the crowd's chanting, USA. USA. USA.
Oh, man.
He's an American.
What are we going to do?
What's wrong with you people?
So it goes back to I'm white and I'm white and I'm American. Not a human being. Well, listen up, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. I know I have. This has been a great episode. We're live in full effect. Like, side by, this is a good energy right here.
Yeah, it's funny. And I gotta say, big kudos to Rob, because in redesigning the studio, we're again, as people start to get vaccinated and we start to see the end of the pandemic, we're hoping to get the Clovercrest Media Studio back open, get some of the shows back in here performing their shows live. I got everything I needed today, leading up to literally us doing this show here today. except for, and I talk to all the podcasters about this all the time, a fucking hardwired connection, an Ethernet connection from your laptop to your modem. That way your shit doesn't freeze, skip. The cord I had was not even half as long as it needed to be. And I was like, damn it, Rob, this is going to be shitty. And for some fucking weirdo reason, and we'll get into this maybe more in the next show, Rob has 2 absurdly long Ethernet cables that made this all possible. I don't know where you got those or why you have them, but thank you for running home to get them and making this shit happen.
We got to make shit happen, man. We got to make shit happen. I promise you, man. We do it for y'all. We couldn't let y'all down.
Like 100-foot long Ethernet cable. Where are you connecting this normally? I'm thinking.
So I have to. So at the house, right? I have a super double this, but I have to run it through 2 floors. Well, what seems to be 2 floors. Because I have to run it. Yeah. It's on a mid-level floor, so I have to bring it up another floor, then up a whole nother flight, and then across a room. So even then, I still have super access. So it's convenient though, right? Because where we're at, our little our suite is, we have the 2 rooms up in the attic. So now I just if I want to go do work in my room, in the actual bedroom instead of my studio area, I just swing this whole long. I drag the cord with me all the way to the bedroom because it's hardwired. It's fucking amazing.
It makes a huge difference.
Best thing. And now, now we have them here, and we're gonna get Clovercrest Meet. We're gonna get the CMG studio right, and get it right. So that way we're connected at all levels because we're doing big things, big things, especially after this COVID thing. So make sure you guys are visiting I'll pitch you off shortly.com, checking out all of our Facebook, social media. If you guys like it, either you can spend some currency and cash app us at $sign I'll pitch you off shortly, but most importantly, spend that digital currency. When I say digital currency, I'm talking about the shares, I'm talking about the comments, I'm talking about tell a friend and tell a friend, tell a friend.
I thought you meant Bitcoin because I'd like to get my hands on.
I mean, we'll definitely take Bitcoin too. Hey, whatever it is. But most importantly, make sure you guys are just enjoying this. If you guys enjoy this show, if you guys love this show, if you guys hate the show, share it, tell us why. Definitely hit up the hotline, leave us a message, hit me up. I might pick up. We can talk about some things. But most importantly, visit clovercrestmedia.com / I'll pitch you off shortly. That way you can stay up to date on all the latest and previous episodes. Catch up on those if you're just tuning into us now. So like I said, spend that digital currency, give us the shares, give us the likes, send this episode in a couple messages, share it throughout the week. And we appreciate you guys as always. I guess that'd be it. I ain't got nothing else.
This was fucking awesome.
I think the energy itself, just being in person.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, it's funny. Here's what I did notice: that I listened to you about 80% of the time.
Yep.
Because I don't know if people could tell, but I'm the one that pushes all the fucking buttons too. And I read the comments, and it's do I read Frank's 14-line comment or do I listen to everything Rob's saying? And it gets to a point where I start to read it, and I'm like, I can't understand Frank's fucking words. And then I look at Rob, and he's 3 or 4 lines into the story, and I'm like, fuck, gotta start backtracking here, working context clues. What did he just say? Fuck. Don't ask me any questions.
See, it was crazy. It's for me now, instead of just being right at the screen and having the 2 screens, I just gotta look at that.
I love this setup though.
And the setup is dope. I'm loving it. We're gonna only big things to come. Big things to come. So Frank, JT, Jared, Devonna, all of you guys out there, all of our avid listeners, make sure you guys are also,
don't forget Quali Boy.
Quali Boy. Oh, Quali was here.
He was so excited about the name of the episode being Bad Day because, as per usual,
he had a bad day.
Quali had a bad day.
Quali, I'm so sorry I missed you.
We got to take that motherfucker out some night and show him a good time.
Hell yeah. On us. We'll invite you to interview us. 14-line comedy. There we go. Well, on that note, I hope we intrigued you guys with our conversation. Hope we pissed you off a little bit. Hope we didn't piss you off. Either way, it's I'll Pitch You Off Shortly podcast. I'm Rob Benjamin. That's Joe Guire. See you guys another time.
One day. I will get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly.